Hi, this is Bruce Boxleitner, and you are watching Addressing Gettysburg.
Perfect. It's like you do it for a living.
Yeah.
From the Gettysburg Museum of History Studios, you're listening to Addressing Gettysburg.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to this episode of Addressing Gettysburg. And as you may know, at the time of this recording, Bo Brinkman is making another movie here in town. It's called Gettysburg 1863. And one of the people in the film playing the Reverend Samuel Schmucker is an old friend of ours because he's been on the show before, but this is his second time. And it's the one and only Bruce Boxleitner. Welcome, Bruce.
Hey, we'll both applaud, all two of us.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm happy to be. No, I'm happy to be here.
I'm happy to have you.
Yeah,
and I didn't know you were
like
going to.
Your new digs. Since I was here last, it was over there by the visitor center. Correct?
That's right. We were in a shed.
Yeah, you were basically in the garage or something. With the lawnmowers and
exactly.
the
with the tools,
snowblower and
the gardening tools.
Tools.
Yeah, that was us.
No.
What was it? Oh, I didn't know that you were in this.
You told me that when I saw you the other day.
Well, and then we were last Friday. I was an extra in the final scene of the film.
The very last scene, yeah.
And we're all waiting in the multi-purpose area of this church. You know, it's dinner time, and the cast and crew start to arrive, and I hear this voice that's familiar to me, and I look around, but you were in costume, and you had these big mutton chop sideburns and everything like that. And for a second, and you didn't have your glasses, and so for a second I had to look twice. And then I realized it was you, and I was elated. I don't know if you recall. I jumped up, I yelled your name, and I gave you a hug.
You almost jumped into my arms, and that would have been embarrassing when we hit the floor.
You would have had a broken back.
Yes, that's true. It would have been a different portrayal of the Reverend Schmucker, though.
Yes.
Sort of bent over. I mean, and I love that night. I mean,
that was fun.
We had it was a challenge for me. This is always the way it is in filmmaking. You end up doing the end first.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so as an actor, in your mind, you have to, where is my character now? Okay, where we've got a whole hour and something more before this.
Yeah,
there's always a through line. It comes to me natural now, but when I was a young actor, I had to really conscious go, okay, I've been through this, this, and this, so how would I be in this at the very end?
So in other words, you're not just playing the scene on the page, you're playing the scene in context of the whole story.
Yes, because you never shoot in order. Very, very, I have,
right.
And it's kind of exciting. But
is that preferable to you? Shooting in order?
Actually, I'm used to it, whatever it is. It is. Yes, you are concentrating on the scene, but you have to always in the back of your mind remember, okay, where do we started in this story? And that's why I even walked around kind of directing a little bit, saying some things. I wanted everybody there to remember these people. This is only the first Christmas since the battle.
Yeah.
So since July. All this, and these people aren't done with this war. The war is still going, by the way.
Yeah.
They're still wounded, clogging up everything, basically using up their local resources, which I think was probably becoming a problem. If I read and interpreted it about Reverend Schmucker, who was quite a doer and shaker here in Gettysburg. I mean, seminary and didn't he create the college too? I mean, I think he was instrumental in getting the Gettysburg College going. Anyway, despite that, I did as much as I could. I'd only known about this probably 3 weeks.
Oh, really?
At the max, yes.
Okay, well, that's why I didn't know.
I would have loved for my own hair to have been a little bit longer. I could have gone without a haircut. I just had a haircut when I get a call from my agent that Bo is interested. And when I look at this, and I said, yes, absolutely. Look, any opportunity to come back here. I love this place.
Yeah.
I think I've said that. And so to work here again was wonderful. It was a great experience the last time on Gettysburg Christmas. So here in my resume now, the last few things have got, I've got Gettysburg in the title.
Yeah. Well, and you do like it because you had yesterday off, and we went to Little Round Top.
Yeah,
and because last time you were here
3 years ago,
it was closed,
still closed.
Yeah,
and then when we came back for the premiere 2 years ago, it was still closed. So, and I wanted to take my wife up there because it's such a vantage point to see the entirety of the battle there in a way. Also, but doing this movie, it was the story. It's always the story. And I think Bo really wrote a nice, I'm not afraid of being sentimental. There's some sentimentality to it. John Ford said, never be afraid to be sentimental, even if to some people it might be mawkish or over the top. Basically, in all of us, there's a sentimental streak, even the hardest of us.
Yeah.
And it works its way in.
Even though
you can be critical.
Sure.
But I think it's the human experience. Why wouldn't we? So I think there you were in the front pew, as a Union Sergeant.
That's right.
Master Sergeant, I think you were.
Sergeant Major.
Sergeant Major. And but I was walking around talking with some of the people. I'm just trying to say, remember what we've all been through. You're going to help me in this. We've all been through
which was good that you did that, because we didn't get that from anybody else. Like nobody knew going. Actually, when we got
were we
there,
in the war?
Yeah. What? How are we feeling or anything? Are we just? Are we just bodies?
I mean, people desperate. Where did they turn to? They turned to their church. That wonderful old chapel too.
That was a beautiful.
It's called
church.
the Rock Chapel.
Yeah.
How far is it out of town? It's on the
It's about maybe I'd say like 8 miles or so north of town.
But it goes back to colonial times.
Yeah.
There was no electricity in it.
That was the
candle
thing.
Power there.
Yeah, that was so cool, ladies and gentlemen. The church is like, there's a few of these in the area.
It's
authentic. And I went scouting with Bo and Chris several months back, and we went and we sat in on a service at one in Maryland, and it was I think it was too small. I think that's why they.
Well, this wasn't very big, was it?
No, but this one was smaller. I don't think you'd be able to get all the equipment in there.
Yeah,
and but this church was so cool because it was all, except for the artificial lights from the film.
Yeah,
all candlelight and lanterns.
Yes,
which I have recently developed an obsession with oil lamps.
Oh, and
so I was
smelling them all night long.
Well, that's because
I got a little high by the end, I was telling you.
I hate to point this out.
Yeah.
But they did not light them properly, and that's why they kept having trouble with them, and that's why you kept smelling it.
Yeah. Because remember, it was right under my pew. That pew was an authentic one going way back. It's probably about.
You mean the podium that you were at?
My little podium there. It was about 200 years old.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I get a kick out of this.
Yes.
So it really transports you back in time. And for an actor that you don't even know it. You just kind of feel, I'm there. This is real to me.
Yeah.
And I try to make it real. Now, you were asking me the other night at dinner yesterday, about I had quite some flowery language. It wasn't written by Schmucker himself, but there's no reason to believe he didn't quote other theologians. He was in that world, he was a major player. He was a major theologian. Yeah. He wrote volumes. But the part of him that I'm fascinated by was his abolitionist side. Now it takes us to the war, okay? And I have a scene coming up where I'm overlooking the stuff that we've gathered for the Underground Railroad.
Okay.
I think in the McLean house. We're back there, and the women are. I walk into the room, and I'm going, okay, I think this will be enough. We have enough clothes and food for them. Basil Biggs, who is a real character, is bringing some runaways, slaves, the enslaved, as they're referred to, and he's bringing some shoes for them, and they should be here this afternoon. So he was active in that. I remember going to the Dobbin house and where that safe room is.
Yeah.
Okay, the hidden room. But anyway, so he was instrumental in that. He was actually, and then in my research, all I could do was Google and IMDb, all that stuff to find out about him. Saw some pictures of him.
We saw his grave yesterday.
We went to see his grave. I thought that was good.
And that was funny because we were...
yes, and Bo brought this up at the meeting at the history thing last night. He's going, Mary Steenburgen is buried there. Does Ted Danson know? Is her husband. But she's like the 16th in line in that family.
Yeah.
I think there's she's related.
For real, like the actress Mary Steenburgen is related?
That was his first wife.
Schmuckers.
Schmuckers, yes.
Okay, because we were trying to figure out who she was.
Yeah, remember that the gravestones are very worn there. Yeah. It was kind of hard to see.
Yeah, and she died in 1845, I think it said.
Yeah.
So she was gone by the time of the battle.
Yeah.
But so it was funny when we were going to find his grave, we knew roundabout where it was, but then we didn't know what it looked like. So we're driving around in circles trying to find the name Schmucker, right?
Yeah.
And
there's Shriver, there's Schreiber.
All these different, every time we see an S, we get excited and it's Smith or something. But then I said, wait a second, why don't I just Google it? So I Googled it and I got a picture of it. And so now it's very luckily for us, it was a tall monument. It was like a Greek column with an urn on top.
Yeah.
So we're like, okay, because there's a lot of some type of column with an urn, but not a Greek column. There's not a lot of those. So we're like, this should be easy to find. And we go in this circle and then we get to this spot and we're
really
like
puzzled.
We're like, Jesus, we haven't found this thing.
Where?
And then we look up and it's right in front of us.
Right in front of us.
And we passed it
like twice. If we had pulled too much forward, we were running right into it.
Yeah,
oh my gosh.
We're making it like it's some big complicated thing. It's right behind Jenny Wade's grave if you want to go find it.
I thought he was a man of stature in the community, and certainly that is a monument. My gosh.
Yeah.
Pretty tall. But anyway, that's the side that, that ties me to the war. His abolitionist side. I read he wasn't fervent about it right away. He kind of came along with it as events unfolded. He was middle of the road, so to speak, about the whole slavery question and about freeing. But then, obviously, that's a commitment because he was not to be found when they got out, which a lot of people didn't do. And I wanted to remind our extras, your people were trapped in your cellars, and wherever you could hide, you couldn't get far. You were surrounded by these massive armies.
Yeah.
You had to run right into the battlefronts.
Right.
So
you got to hide.
And that I think maybe you told me, and somebody did tell me that, for months there were rumors always. The rebels were in the area. But,
yes.
But this is human. Well, surely they won't come here. What have we done? You'd have a lot to take.
Yes.
Let's say they had to live off the land, and your farmers and everybody missed a lot of cows and chickens.
Yeah.
Okay.
To go back to a question before people watching in the audience get impatient, Schmucker was influential in founding Pennsylvania College, now Gettysburg College.
Okay.
And the land for the college, I didn't know this, but Mike Lentz provides it for us. He says the land for the college was provided by Thaddeus Stevens. So you had a scene with Thaddeus Stevens, didn't you?
Yes. I had to kind of put out a little fire was going on with him, and they were getting loud. And Thaddeus was the loudest.
Of course.
And after a few takes, played Dr. O'Neill. Anyway, it worked out. I just step in and remind them that what they're arguing about this evening in my home is not going to get settled. These are big, complicated issues.
Yeah,
Democrat and Republican, and I can understand their passion, and I agree with it, but not here, gentlemen. Yeah. We're not going to do it. Let's create some, brotherly love here,
right,
and goodwill, and they, but still Thaddeus. So the doctor extends his hand and goodwill.
Yeah.
Yes, he goes goodwill. Then he wants to shake his hand and he just harumphs and walks away. so much for the goodwill. It lasted half a second.
Yeah.
But,
back to the church scene. So you mentioned that what you had, the sermon you were given was taken from, who did Bo take that from?
I'm not sure who it was. I think
but it was a theologian.
of the time, and it makes sense that Bo searched. He told me he searched for something Christmas oriented.
Okay.
And he looked at as much as he could of what he could find of Schmucker's writings, but he found something. I think it might be a Spurgeon, something like that. Thomas Spurgeon.
That sounds right. Yeah, I think that's the name you said before.
Of the time, and he quoted that, but there's no reason that Reverend couldn't have used it. But hopefully it's an emotional ending. Our boy comes home. And you can look at it great, and then Hark the Herald Angels Sing.
Yeah.
It was fabulous that everybody got into that and sang it. We had some beautiful women singing.
Oh my God.
voices.
Yeah, with
and
those
that final verse where you really come down to Hark the Herald Angels Sing. Glory to the newborn. And it swelled.
Yes.
I got tingles up my spine. And
but did you? How about that poor organ player?
Oh, yeah.
That poor guy.
The first take, I want to go, hit it, Jack. I don't know what his name was, but
I wasn't Jack.
I even went like this. I went. He couldn't see me behind that flat. There.
Yeah, there was a flag there for the light.
Yeah.
But that organ was a pump organ.
Beautiful.
So I could hear, as he's playing, I hear clunk, 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 clunk.
It's an old one.
And I'm thinking it's two, I've seen them where they're two foot pedals and you alternate to get the air going, right? And so, during one of the breaks between takes, I said to him, I could hear you working those pumps. And he's like, oh yeah. And I go, just doing this the whole time, huh? And he goes, well, and with my knees. And so I went and I looked, and so it's got the pedals, but also these things on the knees. So he's going like this and like this. And he's
Holy moly, he's
80
dancing.
years old.
Yes, he is. He's dancing back there.
Jeez. So wow. That's why I think for a while there was a timing issue where we were like ahead of him and he couldn't keep up. But anyway.
Well, what was great too is that he started a little before. So we waited for the next time to come in, what I'm saying. It's a little preamble or whatever you call it.
Intro.
He had an intro to it. And but my voice went out halfway, so I know I'll be doing it in ADR. I got through Hark the Herald Angels Sing, Glory
to the Newborn
King, and went out, and I just mumbled it back here and lip synced it as much as I could.
Well, they can go in and out.
Just understand, like we were saying yesterday, there's a lot of things going on in that scene. You're going to be going back and forth.
Yeah.
So it could very well have been on camera to start it,
right.
But you're not going to get back to me to maybe the end. When everything comes together. It's an affirmation of life, Thomas. I don't want to tell the story,
right.
I think, in the larger sense, that what I was saying to everybody about how tragic all of this was for these people in this town. They come to get solace in the church, and then a favorite son is found. He gets back. It's an affirmation of life that still has death all over the place, and the horror of the psychic horror of it all for these townspeople. Think about 19th century people. The loudest noise they would ever hear was a locomotive. Mm-hmm. Think about that.
I know.
We're all half deaf because we have city noise.
Yep. Yep. No, and that's true. And like we were talking about that yesterday.
There were artillery, gunfire on massive scales, things like that. It must have been absolutely just horrendous.
I can't even imagine, especially being in your basement where all you hear is a sound, but you don't.
And the ground trembling, the building trembling.
Yeah.
And, that's why I kept pointing out to everybody, if they wanted a mental picture, that Don Trioni picture that's right out in front of the library next to the Lincoln statue on Baltimore Avenue.
Okay.
It's there, and it's a grandfather, a woman, and her daughter.
Oh, yeah.
And they're in their cellar. He's kind of looking up, and you can tell something is hit because the little girl is going like this, and she's grabbing onto her. And I'm thinking, these people, they never anticipated this. This was Pennsylvania. The war is down there.
Well,
down south.
And there's stories of young boys during the first day's battle going out, climbing up a tree to watch, and a shell goes right by their head, and he scurries back down the tree.
Oh, yes, I would.
But people don't realize the danger of a battle when you're not on the field, because of overshoots and things like that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. There's, a lot of inaccurate shooting going on.
Sure.
And then when it finally hit the town itself. So it was a traumatic thing. I just wanted to remind the extras, you're part in this too. You've been traumatized. Mm-hmm. And this is the place you would go to get solace.
Yeah.
Protection. God, And
that was a long shoot, though. That was, 5 hours sitting in that view? My ass is still sore from that.
Yeah.
It was,
my
those
feet
were
were
hard.
killing me. My lower back was killing me. And that's why I tried to sit down as much as I could. But I'm enjoying it because this is a different character for me. I've hit an age now where I'm playing older men, and I've played a judge now. I'm playing this reverend. I think he was probably in his, didn't we talk about this, maybe his 60s? People may know
he was in his 60s because he died in 74, I think.
At 74, and he died in 73. He was 74 years old when he died.
Right.
I've outlived him by a year now.
1799 to 1873.
All Bo told me was he's a significant man in the life of Gettysburg.
Yeah.
And he was a man of importance there. And he was a target too, apparently. I got that again last night.
Yes.
They know who the Thaddeus Stevens was. They
sacked his ironworks.
Sacked his ironworks. It wasn't just willy-nilly to just sack an ironwork.
No.
They knew specifically who it was.
Yeah.
He was a loud abolitionist, and they were
Schmucker,
outspoken.
Yeah.
And so was Schmucker. So
I believe they ransacked his house, right?
Well, I even say that in the speech. I say that thank you all for being here this evening. My home, as many of yours, like so many, was ransacked and almost destroyed. And we've recovered from recently recovered from the damage and moved back in, tried to find some normality again. And that's what the whole thing is. How does this town find normality after what's been going on? Mm-hmm. And from what I understood, even when Lincoln had here, we're still bearing, sometimes there was still the stench of the dead, rotting flesh.
Yeah.
And they were still burying soldiers.
Yep.
In November, he came, right?
Right.
So I love that about the story. We don't think of, we know the combatants, we know all the soldiers, the strategies, what happened, what should have happened and failed and all that sort of thing, Pickett's charge, all of that, but we don't know about as much as ever been a movie as I know of, and I would have seen it, about the townsfolk, about the collateral damage.
That's true.
That we call it today.
Yeah, you don't
see collateral damage.
Right.
Yeah. Well, no, they're human beings.
Right.
Caught in something they didn't think they'd ever have a part in other than their sons marching off.
And they certainly didn't ask for the war to come to their front doors.
And I picture it, this market town, caught between two massive armies, searching each other out. And where do they collide? This town.
This town right here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Horror,
You're also, you're about, later this year, you'll start filming the third season for a show called Blue Ridge that you're in.
That's correct.
And tell us about that.
It's on INSP, and it's also playing currently, streaming on Peacock right now. I was just my role has grown.
Yeah. Who do you play?
I play a guy named Oak Miller.
Oak Miller.
Very different guy.
Is he like an old codger type or?
Not an old codger. Actually, he's kind of, there's a dangerous side to him, as they found out in the first episode when we met him. But he was a local hero. He had been a rodeo cowboy as a young man. He came out of the mountains here. He traveled the rodeo circuit, but he rode this one bull that no one could ride. And in the little town museum of Blue Ridge, there's the big newspaper article. The bull no one could ride, and he did. He did a full 8 seconds on him that no one had ever done. That was his claim to fame.
Okay.
He's back home here. He has a horse farm, and he was raising his granddaughter. So I just made up a story in my own mind. Nobody ever told me what happened to her parents, but I believe I've written that they were killed in a car wreck, and so I've taken it over and raised my granddaughter, and that seems like a very quiet character. We shoot it out in North Carolina, and out of Charlotte, and that's where the studios are, INSP. If you might be familiar with it, they run Gunsmoke like 24/7.
Yeah.
And old Western movies, there's like Get TV, Grit TV, INSP, the Old West in the movies, and period pictures like even this could qualify for it. I think they played Gettysburg. It's not exactly Western, but it is a big Americana piece.
19th century.
Yeah, 19th century.
Yeah.
And let's face it, the Old West, the Civil War, very much caused westward expansion.
Yes.
And also affected every major character that we know of.
Yeah.
In the Old West. Every legend of the Old West has some ties to the war.
Jesse James.
The James boys, they were just continuing the war.
Yes, that's right.
Let's face it.
That's right.
They were bushwhackers from Missouri.
You say you kind of made up a story as to why he's raising the kids.
Yeah.
Is that helpful to do, even though that's not, the writers didn't even give you that, that's never a part of it?
It's never mentioned.
Yeah. Does that help you in some way?
Yeah, I think Stephen Lang, if you would agree, you kind of do, what's my motivation for doing this? Because what happens is, I don't want to spoil anything for the audience. This was in the first episode I was in first season. And there's some ruffians, some punks that think they're out. They steal somebody's horses. My neighbors, in fact. And now remember, this isn't out west. This is here in the Blue Ridge Mountains.
And it's modern day.
Right. Yes. Jonathan Shake plays, you may recognize him from several things, but the Tom Hanks movie years ago about this one-hit wonders rock band, that Thing You Do.
That Thing You Do.
And he was the petulant band leader that made the mistake of trying to stick to it instead of going along with everybody else.
Yeah.
And he was very good in it, but he has transformed himself into quite an action hero in this one. And he's a guy that has taken over. We've had the marvelous
Miss Mabel.
Yeah, he
No.
He has taken over. He's the
Not Mabel.
the sheriff that heads up the police department there, the Blue Ridge Police Department.
Okay.
And once again, you have sort of a fish out of water. It's a good show. It's in line with the sort of rural crime stories now. We were talking about the other night. I said when I grew up, crime as portrayed on television was always a city thing.
Yes.
It was the naked city. Even to Baretta and all these TV shows, it was always in the big cities crime. Mm-hmm. And I think since that wacky movie the Coen brothers did called Fargo, now it's crime in the countryside.
Yeah. That I find to be more interesting, to be honest.
It actually is.
Yeah.
What are those seeds really doing out there?
Right.
Murdering each other.
Right.
And
city crime is too in your face, right? And so it's like there's nothing interesting or exciting about a detective story that takes place in a big city because, you deal with this every week. In
the motives
sleepy little towns across the country where everybody waves to you.
Yeah.
Right. And then now you got to figure out who done it. And it could only be a handful of people.
Yes.
Or a menacing outside presence coming in. Which I always like those.
Yes, that's true.
What was that show Tom Selleck, or it wasn't a show, it was a series of movies Tom Selleck did.
The Jesse
Stone
Mysteries, and I believe that was,
I liked
the
those.
crime writer, Robert Parker.
Yeah, but that's when I learned
he did
that
Spencer as well, the Spencer
for Hire,
novels.
like that.
Yeah.
That's when I learned that I was getting old because I enjoyed the Tom Selleck detective shows.
Let's just say
they're probably like CBS shows.
I wouldn't say you were getting old. You were maturing.
Oh, is that okay? Thank you.
We had more mature tastes.
Well, that's true. I like a story that breathes.
When I started in television in the 70s and then on into the early 80s, we were in the period of Policewoman with Angie Dickinson, Robert Blake in Baretta. We had, the crime-solving, not Undertaker, what do you call them, who, the guys that come in are called in when a body...
Like a crime, coroner?
The coroner.
Yeah.
That was Quincy or something like that.
Quincy MD.
We had all of those, but he was a coroner.
Yeah.
He was always but he would solve the crime too and then we wound up all the way up to CSI, and then all those type of things. And we had the military police of NCIS.
Yeah.
I did 2 of those. But anyway, so that's the Blue Ridge. I just want to tell your audience it's a clean show. There are no F-bombs. There are not any. There's a wonderful underplaying story of 2 people that are divorced but still love each other very, very much.
That's
and he's
rare.
He's always in a clumsy way trying to, endear himself to his ex-wife and Sarah Lancaster, and it's marvelous the underplaying that they do in that. But and the kids and everybody, but all the Denzians of this small mountain town, and even some of this season it's not blatant, but there's some bad guys up in the hills doing some things, drug-wise, meth lab type stuff.
Sure. You got to get a little Breaking Bad in there.
Yeah, you got to get a little Breaking Bad in there because I'm sure it's there. But also, because of the hurricane and the damage that was done, we can't drive up there, so we have to do it the old-fashioned way.
Ah, that makes it fun.
It turns into a little bit of a cowboy.
I like that. Okay, cool.
Because only one guy can get up there. And we have wonderful character actor, Tom Proctor. He plays sort of the father of a clan of ugly-looking sons. And but he's kind of on the good guy's side this time.
Yeah.
There's a line criminals even have, or a criminal empire, or moonshining, and he's got all this, whatever's nefarious going on in Blue Ridge or its environs, he's got a piece of it going.
Yeah. How long have you?
This time he's going, when you're poisoning the kids, you've gone too far.
Yeah, that's the line.
Proctor and Sheriff John Wise and Oak Miller. I'm proud of this episode. I hope it comes off good.
And it's
we go back to the old-fashioned law, bringing the law to them.
Yeah. Well, that's what you got to do in the mountains.
That's right. Those roads are knocked out.
Right.
The damage that was done. And
get the horses in the Winchesters and let's go.
Basically, that's it.
Yeah.
We got to go up and take them.
So it's 2 seasons that are out.
Second season is about to
come out.
So be looking for that, I would say, if you're interested in the show. But it's good television. It's television we did. INSP, they're really a very decent people. Mm-hmm. But I think it's this is just me. This is my opinion. I'm not quoting anybody from there. But for me, it is pushback to what some of the terrible stuff that's coming out of Hollywood today.
Yeah.
Such gratuitous violence, such gratuitous sex. Now, I know I'm an older man now, and maybe I'm getting old or mature.
Right.
But I think I've, even in my conversations around town here with people, it's remarkable how some of that comes up because some of us, I no longer live in Hollywood, in fact. I've left California. Mm-hmm. So I hear it a lot. And I have to agree with, we're forgetting how to, it's about entertainment, not preaching from a pulpit either.
Right.
Of your
beliefs or whatever.
Your beliefs, and especially because all things are political nowadays. So,
but wasn't it always kind of preachy?
Yes, it was to a degree, but I think it's now it's worked. Listen. No matter what, Hollywood, there was message pictures, but you knew it.
Yeah.
But that wasn't the majority of it. It was entertainment. Take me somewhere. Television especially didn't get into this a lot because it went into people's living rooms.
Yes.
You have to get up and go to a movie theater. If you don't have some knowledge of what the movie's going to be and who the stars are, remember, it's still movies were still more star-driven than ever. You would go see. I still claim today that no matter what people think of him, and I'm of the opinion I don't really care what your politics, what your faith, if you have any of that stuff is. It's what you give me an audience. Humphrey Bogart once said, an actor doesn't owe the audience anything but a good performance.
Right.
So, you know what you can do with your curiosity about my life? I mean, I'm just a person too.
Yeah.
So you know what I'm saying?
Yes, yes.
But Hollywood had stricter bylaws, actually, of what was, and sometimes it was stunted creativity, but people found ways of going around that. Clever ways, and that's called good writing.
Yeah,
and I personally think there's we're in a period that, and the numbers show it. Movies aren't selling like they used to.
Yeah,
even
not.
Streaming is now struggling. People are dropping. It's and in that case, I think there's the economics of it. Hollywood is probably there in name only. It's everywhere now.
Yes.
Go to Atlanta, Georgia.
Yep.
Go to Netflix. Just created big studios out there in New Mexico, Albuquerque.
Yep.
It's everywhere now. Look, Charlotte, North Carolina, INSP. They have a major studio there.
Yeah.
All in house. They've got their editing. They've got their,
filming in Gettysburg.
Filming in Gettysburg. Look at that.
Yeah,
It was the real place. You used to build this on the back lot.
Right. You build it on the back lot, or you go to Toronto or Ontario or some wackadoodle place.
Yeah. I mean, you could name it or you could build it, but Hollywood, in the olden days, the early days of Hollywood, they built it. They didn't go on location.
Right.
If they did, it's Simi Valley, which is probably was an hour drive from downtown Hollywood.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the world has changed in that way. But I think the Golden Globes was on the other night. They're not even getting audiences for this. And I remember growing up, maybe that's part of the, it was a big event. The family all gathered around to watch the Academy Awards.
Yeah.
Their ratings are so poor.
Well, I think a big difference between then and now is, there's several differences, but one is,
there's many reasons for this.
You had real stars back then.
Yes, sir.
And they weren't accessible to the public. They didn't have Instagram. They didn't have any social media.
Exactly.
So what their image was it was curated and it was protected by the studios.
Protected is a good word there. Yes, they were.
And so these people were impeccable in the eyes of the public, and you only got to see them not in their movie roles this one time a year all together.
Yes, and they were dressed up.
Yeah.
The men were in tuxedos, the women, that's where we started this whole thing.
Right.
Who are you wearing?
Right.
And all that stuff.
Right.
I see the Golden Globes the other night, and an actor rushes up to show his virtue signaling pin that's on the collar of his thing. I'm going, really? They didn't even ask him to come over. He ran over to the mic and forced it on them.
Oh, really?
Yeah. No, I don't want to get into that. But that's his choice too. I mean, that's fine.
I know, but so we all have the right to do this.
The glamour of old Hollywood.
But pick your hill to die on. Just don't. And that's
everyone's dying on these hills.
But I think that is one of the reasons why people don't watch it. Also because there's too many options now. And so that's not the only major TV event.
Yeah.
But also, with streaming, you mentioned streaming and how people are, unsubscribing to Netflix and things.
That's what I'm seeing.
Yeah.
Statistics.
And I've seen that too. And I realized in my own use of them, I'm watching old stuff.
Isn't that funny?
And I'm constantly rewatching old stuff because there's nothing new. I'm exaggerating when I say nothing.
Yeah, I mean, we're generalizing.
Yeah.
I mean, there are some
new
good things,
but they're not rewatchable for me. You know what I liked, actually? Right. It was a show called it was either The Resident or The Residence. It was about a murder in the White House.
Yes.
And The
Residence, I think.
The Residence. Okay. It's a comedy, a murder mystery, several episodes. I loved it. I thought it was great. I've watched that a few times because it's like, I don't know. I love those things where you take this very well-known thing like the White House.
Yes.
And now there's a murder mystery in the White House. There's really something really cool about it. And it's
like
done with good humor.
Intrigue of other older, what's gone on in the castle. So
yeah, but as far as movies go and TV shows, I'm re-binging things that are at least 20 years old, 15 years old.
I understand that.
Yeah.
Let me just, from my own experience, I'm still known for things 40 years ago.
Yeah,
that scares me. But I just last week? How long have I been here? I've been here a few days now. 4 days. January 16th. No. When was that? That was
when
I've lost this last January 16th, 50 years ago. The pilot that was my first big break of How the West Was Won was called The McCahans. And it was starring James Arness, Eva Marie Saint, Richard Kiley, and a cast of all these familiar great faces that were still in the primes of their, or some way twilights of their careers, all the great characters.
Yeah.
And Big Jim, it was his stepping out from the role of Marshal Matt Dillon of Gunsmoke. And here he was dressed, all 6'8" of him, in buckskins and big Romano mustache, shoulder-length hair, and a big old musket, and a big old 1840, the Colt Dragoon stuck in his belt and a Bowie knife.
Yeah.
And he loved it because he got to be the man of his age instead of... he returned to Matt Dillon later on CBS for 5 Gunsmoke movies, in which I did the very last one with him.
Yeah.
Which was
that early 80s?
That was 93.
Oh, 93.
Yeah, it was the last one.
I thought he died.
CBS did. No, he died.
When did he die?
About 5-6 years later.
In the 90s?
Yeah, in the 90s.
Yeah, okay.
Or early 2000s. No, I think it has to be early 2000s because I was, you could look up Jim's.
That's what I'm doing.
Because I was called. I had a very wonderful relationship with him because he actually was responsible for picking me out of a number of screen tests at MGM to play his nephew on this pilot of How the West Was Won. But when I say 50 years, oh my gosh. So I've been doing this about 54 years or 5 years.
I was going to ask you how long your career has been. So you were just starting.
I was in theater. But I was just starting. I was 25 already.
Okay.
24, 25. And so I had been already at being a professional actor for about three and a half years before that. So I don't mean to get into that, but Arness, it was a radio show called me wanting to comment on the death of James Arness.
Mm-hmm.
Boy, they just waylaid me there. I had no idea.
Oh, so you were just finding out?
I just learned from them. And so I said, if James Arness gave me a career because he had casting approval of this new pilot. It was going to be a big pilot and it was going to be at MGM, not at CBS. This was, we were in ABC. So he was jumping networks. I mean, you didn't do that in those days.
Right.
He had been Mr. CBS all this time. 20 years of Gunsmoke. That was unheard of, a show that long. So anyway, when he saw he was at MGM, he saw a number of screen tests that a few of us had done. In fact, they had to have me back. They didn't like the lighting in the scene when they looked at it in post, and so they had me, I did another scene. So I had 2 screen tests, and ABC was pushing and if you don't believe me, you can go to a History of the Television Academy interviews with James Arness, and you can hear this story.
Okay.
He also talks about casting a young Burt Reynolds in Gunsmoke years ago. Burt did a few seasons on Gunsmoke. But that's it. if he hadn't picked me for that, no, he liked what he saw. He said, no, I like this kid. I like this kid in this third one or whatever it was. And the executive was going, yeah, he's good. Yeah, but we really want this number one guy. We're trying to bring him. He's big in the soaps, and we want to bring him to prime time. And nope. No, I like this kid here.
Oh, good.
He stuck with me.
Good.
It was just something. I was tall.
Yeah.
The other guy wasn't so tall. But he didn't want to be looking at the top of somebody's head.
The other guy was Danny DeVito.
Yeah, that'd have been an interesting take on that one.
Would not
You're
have
my
been
nephew. What was my brother Tim up to? But very good. But so that, and then that was my biggest break, and that started me on a television career there. So,
we were talking last evening at the coffee house, and we were talking about careers in Hollywood, and you just mentioned you've had 54 years. You said, right?
Well, when I started in the theater, I was young. I debuted on Broadway. I turned 21 on Broadway.
So you were making a living since you were 21?
Yeah.
I
got out of drama school, and I lucked into an understudy role to a guy that was later, just a couple weeks later, fired. They had already, and I took that show to Washington, D.C.'s Arena Stage. It left Chicago, where I started. And then eventually we came back there, and then... but I had done summer stock and everything too. And summer stock is what convinced me after that play had ended on Broadway. We didn't have a long run. Came from Chicago. New York never liked anything. Came from Chicago. And except Second City, I think. But anyway, that's what took me. And it was doing summer stock. I ended up going through South here and from Ohio down to Atlanta where we finished. But the company that was doing it, they had a lot of Hollywood people, television. And they kept saying, do you ever think that maybe New York isn't right for you? Maybe there? Because you really, I still believe this. And I have a young son there, my youngest son. But he can sing, he can dance, and he can act.
Okay.
You got to be kind of a triple threat guy. I was not a big dancer, okay? Even though I had to take that in drama school, but we weren't. I was a bit heavy-footed there. I couldn't. Yeah. Anyway, it just wasn't happening.
Right.
But I took that to heart when I got back to New York City from doing that. I looked for an opportunity to get to the West Coast.
Someone in the audience says you also did some incredible voice work in the video game Spec Ops. The Line.
I do that too.
Recognize that voice the moment I played it, he says.
Yeah. I also have a book. I want to plug a book that I have out on audio book, a wonderful, it's a Western. And he's probably, his name is Mark Lee Gardner, and it's called Brothers of the Gun. And it's the story, what you thought you knew about Wyatt Earp and a gambler named Doc Holliday. And who probably became the most famous legends. There's quite a few others in there too, of the latter part of the Old West. And but Mark Lee Gardner, I think, is probably one of the best writers in Western and frontier history selling today. If you go in Barnes and Noble, every one of his books are selling, and it's a market that really doesn't sell much anymore. History, unfortunately, isn't as big, but Western history is a small niche at your Barnes and Nobles bookstores. It's not. I mean, we still got old, dog-eared Louis L'Amour books, and I never was a big fan of Louis. I never was.
I never got.
He didn't have the detail.
No, he was. Who wrote?
He didn't know a Remington from a Henry rifle.
Right.
I mean, he just didn't know.
He's not the one who did Hondo, is he?
He did Hondo.
Oh, he did do Hondo.
No, he did some good stories.
Yeah.
I don't want to get bashed. I'm going to have all the
Louis L'Amour people.
You know who that are going to come after me now. I met Beau L'Amour. I've met...
it's okay.
I met Louis.
You're not saying he sucked. You're just saying you're not a fan.
I like history that gives me a little more in-depth detail.
Yeah.
This is what Mark Lee Gardner not only is a very good writer, but he really knows he's a deep dive historian.
But Louis L'Amour was a novelist, though, wasn't he?
He was a pulp novelist. He also did what y'all had to do. And in those days in the pulps, they had to write, they had to know every genre. Detective fiction, big in the pulps, the noir world, you know, and probably some science fiction, also adventure, romance, all that stuff. I know he wrote sea stories. I know that, you know, rugged sailor stories out in the ocean, but things like, because I think he actually did that. He actually was out on,
so he's
as a young man,
from experience,
lumberjack stories, things like that. But this is pulp fiction. You know.
By the way, before we get too far away from Mr. Arness, 2011 is when he passed away.
Yeah.
2011. So that that really took my legs out from under me. Yeah.
I really developed a very good friendship with him. A man that I would say was my mentor. He would shy guy.
Yeah. Really?
Yeah, but he could be really extroverted too. I always knew when we could hear his big roaring laughter coming, I said, this is going to be a great day because Jim sounds like he's in a great
he's in a good mood.
And, you know, when you're the star, he taught me what it was to be the star of a show.
Okay.
Not what the public sees, but the workaday making of a television show. You have to, you know, he probably had to do them shorter things. I think when they were doing the first black and whites, they were half-hour scripts, so the show was a half hour. So they had to be tight, and they had to do probably a couple in a week sometimes. You know, I've talked to Hugh O'Brien and people like that, and when they said, we did 36 episodes a season, I think Hugh told me that when they did The Life and Legend of Wyatt Earp, it was approximately the same time. This was the adult Western was coming out.
Okay.
You know, and Gunsmoke touted itself as an adult Western. John Wayne actually was instrumental in helping him get the role. He recommended Jim because he was under contract to Wayne's company, Batjack.
Yeah.
And
I was going to say, you've got. You never met?
Yes,
John
I did.
Wayne.
Yes, I only did once.
When did you meet him?
It was at a People's Choice Awards where he famously stood up. See, the times were political then. Of
course.
Jane Fonda was on stage. We all know about Jane.
Mm-hmm.
And my co-star on How the West Was Won was with me. I later married her. My first wife, Catherine Holcomb. So we were there, and it was at the Beverly Wilshire Hotel, and Duke comes up on stage. I was thrilled to see him, you know, and this was in a time when he had already had the big C. He was the only star that could weather getting cancer, and his career wasn't destroyed. It actually sent him on a mission. He created the John Wayne Cancer Institute that's still going strong in cancer research today. But
which that's so perplexing to me that was a thing where you would have cancer and your career would be over.
Yeah, nobody would insure you.
Oh, okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, no. I thought it was that makes sense.
Also, let's just be frank here. In society, oh my gosh, cancer.
Well, no, I remember my grandfather telling me that his father had died of stomach cancer. And he said, you know, but you got to remember in those times when you had cancer, like nobody talked about it. No. And, you know, so it wasn't, you know, it was just weird when he died because we couldn't tell people. And I go, why? What's the shame in having cancer?
That's the way we look at it now. I
not
think
like
people are cancer survivors, and we wear that as you should,
sure,
as a badge of honor.
Of course.
You know?
Yeah.
It wasn't that way.
Yeah.
In 1987, when I was doing The Scarecrow and Mrs. King,
right,
I just reunited with my co-star, Kay Jackson. You might remember her from Charlie's Angels.
Oh, sure.
Which was such a phenomenon in its day. Kate and I ran 4 seasons as a Scarecrow and Mrs. King on CBS Monday nights. And Katie was diagnosed, and starting in our fourth season would have been 1987. And we were still going strong. We were enough in the ratings still after 4 seasons that we were 8 o'clock television, too, by the way, family-friendly hour, all those things. And that was probably my biggest thing across the board.
Yeah.
It really.
Well, Babylon 5 was pretty big.
Yeah, but that's a niche sci-fi.
Yeah, but it's a big niche.
It was, but it wasn't on network television. It was.
Okay.
We were the UPN. We were the, No, it was. I mean, but that was a 90s thing. We're talking 80s. And I think, and I just reunited with her, I think last April or May somewhere, I forget the exact time, at a thing called the Hollywood Show in Burbank, California. It's a big autograph and collector's show. And we had the cast of Scarecrow and Mrs. King reunite, who's left. The boys that played her 2 young sons are these big burly men with beards now, and I'm going, I used to take your hair. Oh, what hair? I used to ruffle your bowl haircut there and tease you all the time and kid with you. But to see Katie again after 38 years was remarkable. And only because she had, we had to go off. That's why. Maybe the public doesn't know that. I don't think I'm telling anything out of school here.
You had to go off. You had to go off there because she had cancer.
She was diagnosed with breast cancer.
Yeah.
And we weren't told.
Okay, so
I didn't know.
You
The
found that
studio
out later.
slammed shut.
Yeah.
And we had to finish up some episodes that were owed for that season. And it was Martha Smith, who played a co-star in the agency, CIA there. She had to sort of step in and do the physical, and then they would do a couple of remotes that was in Mrs. King's house, and Kate was sitting on a couch talking to me on a phone. That was not the show.
Right.
But they had to adapt it because we had what were they going to put in its place for the remainder?
Right.
So we had a few episodes. It was strange. But like I said, and it is no fault of Kate. I'm not casting any aspersions or anything about or commenting on cancer. It just was a different time. It was treated differently. And in the show business, it was kind of death knell, because I remember AIDS was about the same time. And when Rock Hudson suddenly died of AIDS,
right,
Hollywood took a jolt.
Yeah.
We still didn't know how it was spread. We didn't know how it was, so...
I just saw something about that the other day, and one of the leading ladies he was working with around that time was like infuriated because
she had to do a love scene with him.
Well, yeah, and she didn't know because nobody knew how it was spread, and she thought I was kissing him.
It scared her.
Yeah, I can't remember who that was.
Oh, I know who it was.
Oh, okay.
But I think it's
it's out there because I was watching it on YouTube.
Yeah. It didn't come out of this mouth.
No. Okay.
Today, people. Oh wow! I mean,
keep your nose clean.
No, I don't know how we got onto that, but I'm just saying it was a different television.
We're talking about John Wayne,
and John Wayne, when he came out and said he was this for generations now. Yeah, probably three generations before. He was a major movie star.
Right. Yeah.
And he didn't. They were interested in John Wayne perhaps doing Gunsmoke. But as a movie star of his day, television, by the way, the business was so frightened of television, the movie business, because why would they go out if they can see me in their living room on this little box? Yeah. This little Motorola or something, why would they? And it did, that's why we had all these big special things, Cinerama and... 3D for the sci-fi
to keep people coming back.
Yeah, we had to do a gimmick to get them back. Yeah, and we're kind of going through that now because streaming has really eaten into the everything. And then when COVID happened, there we go again. There was this pandemic. Thank you, Mr. Tom Cruise, for bringing our movie theaters back with Top Gun Maverick.
Hey, buddy. What's got you so down?
Hey, Court. I'm looking for a gift, but I just don't know what to get my Gettys nerd friends and family.
It sounds like we need to have a talk. Come on. You love this place, don't you?
You bet I do. It's my favorite place in the world.
Well, you see, at Addressing Gettysburg, it's our mission to keep these stories alive.
How do we do that?
I'm glad you asked, Sport. You see, Gettysburg is the gateway to the most brutal and crucial time in American history, so we interview experts, and our listeners learn with us.
That sounds amazing.
It is! Mike, are you f***ing serious?
What? It's for the commercial. What benefits do patrons get?
You mean besides up to 4 premium episodes per month and Matt being the bee's knees as host? How about early access to special episodes, behind-the-scenes insights, and discounts for ticketed events?
Whoa! None of the other history channels I follow do that for their listeners.
That's because Addressing Gettysburg doesn't take its listeners for granted and really cares about us learning American history.
You know, I should gift my Getty's Nerd friends and family an Addressing Gettysburg Patreon membership.
You see, the answer was right under your nose the entire time.
Make Addressing Gettysburg's Patreon a gift for the Getty's Nerd in your family this holiday season. Addressing Gettysburg wants you to learn about the Civil War with us, and we need your support. We'll run this ad until it gets annoying, and then we'll run it until you become a patron at patreon.com/addressinggettysburg or by scanning the QR code on your screen. Happy holidays.
The hell are we staring at?
No idea.
No matter what you think of him, he's the biggest movie star in the world.
Honestly, I feel like if Hollywood wanted to put seats or butts in seats again, and they don't need to touch it with their remastering and all this stuff and, you know, leave it alone, but re-release classic movies in theaters. And I think because they were made to be seen on the big screen.
In the big screen.
The movies today.
They were shot for that.
Yeah, the movies today, they know that they're going to be streamed for the most part.
Yeah.
Even when they come out in the theater, they know that they're going to end up on somebody's laptop.
Oh, they have that
phone.
deal right away. I mean, that movie isn't even made.
Right. Well, that's what I'm saying. And so they know, like, in the end, it's going to be on a small screen. But those films, you're talking about the show How the West Was Won. What about the film How the West Was Won? They would shoot it with 3 cameras.
That was
and
Cinerama.
stitch it. Yeah, they would stitch it together, and you
So
could
it
see the
surrounded
seams.
you.
Yes, but like
the Cinerama Theater and on Sunset, that was built for the debut of It's a Mad, 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 Mad World and How the West Was Won.
It's a Mad, 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 Mad World was in Cinerama.
Yes. Crazy with those big chase scenes and race scenes and things.
Yeah.
I think How the West Was Won was first, and that was the big epic Western. You still had Duke, who had a cameo in that, but Henry Fonda, Jimmy Stewart, there was all these chapters they had.
Yeah.
And so our series, because I was at MGM, the McCahan pilot was picked up, but we didn't start for like 6 or 7 months until whatever it was. I think I don't know the full story still to even this day, but we started much later on the series of it. It had to be picked up, and then there's all kinds of things because we shot that on locations.
Okay.
We were out in Arizona. We were out in Northern California. We were out in all over the place. Utah, southeastern Utah, Kanab, Utah. That became our base as well. So we actually shot out in the West, and that was expensive even then.
Sure.
This is when the Western was really. These were I'm very proud to say that I actually had a little bit to do in the last throes of the Western cycle of television.
The original.
The original cycle was winding down by the 70s.
Yeah.
And that's why we followed the miniseries Roots, which was a huge television phenomena.
Right.
And every commercial break, there was an ad, a trailer for How the West, for the McCahans.
Okay.
Next week, blah, blah, blah.
So that helps.
James Arness. And he was a household name. Everyone knew him. So, and he looked different. And man, this looks cool. And had the Civil War sequences going off. We did the Battle of Shiloh there and all kinds of stuff. So it was kind of fun.
The Shiloh was the scene that the Duke was in, I believe.
Yes, he was with Harry Morgan playing U.S. Grant.
That's right.
So, yep.
All right, I have a question. You met John Wayne. You shook his hand.
I'll tell you, I've finished that.
Finish it.
I just want to tell great line from Wayne, though. He gets up on stage and he looks over at Jane Fonda and goes, I never thought I'd be so far to the left of you. The audience, he broke the ice.
Yeah.
With that little thing. Self-deprecating in a way, too.
Yep.
You know, Duke Wayne on the left.
Yeah, that's
you
good.
know, because they were both.
What did she do? Spit in his face?
No, she laughed.
Okay.
Because she sat on his lap when she was a little girl.
She knew
Henry
him.
Fonda and him were great friends. Nope.
Yeah.
And here's the difference, and I'll only get into this once. That generation could argue their tails off about politics. They were left, right then.
Yeah, sure.
But they worked together and they were good friends. Kirk Douglas admitted he wept at John Wayne's grave.
Yeah.
He did 3 at his funeral. He did 3 films and knew the man. And they would have these knockdown political arguments, but they were friends. They put it away. They didn't let anything. And now it's, I can't talk to you anymore, man.
Right.
You know?
It's silly now.
It is. That generation, we should learn a lesson from. We're all Americans and everybody, and even with the McCarthy era, all that stuff, we got back together again.
Yes.
We come apart and we come back together again. And I was taught that by those gentlemen. I also did a Hallmark Hall of Fame playing Kirk Douglas's son. And I got to work with him up in Nova Scotia on a beautiful little piece called The Secret.
Okay.
And I was thrilled that they were consummate actors. That generation.
Yeah. Yes.
You know, they could kid around, but he could have just sat back and been Kirk Douglas. He didn't.
Right.
He wanted to rehearse. He wanted to work these scenes. He was in the process. Really get to the meat of it. And,
well, okay. So now you
so
can.
So John Wayne.
Yeah, John Wayne. You can.
We all leave, and we're going to go to the get our cars to the valet. Mm-hmm. All the big limos and things are coming up, and my stupid little car that we're going to go back out to our house in. So, by God, I look, and here comes lumbering down there, followed by all these reporters and the cameras and everything, is coming John Wayne and his publicist and his team of people. And he has to come, and they right away, everybody gets John Wayne's car. Here comes the limo they have for him and everything. And they stopped, and there's Kitty and I standing there. And I'm this long-haired youth of the era, and I thought, oh, my God, what's this hippie kid doing here? No, he didn't at all. He said, and somebody said, Duke, this is young Bruce Boxleitner and you, Catherine Holcomb, and they're working with Jim Arness on his newest Western series, How the West Was Won. Oh, well, I knew, and he...
No, keep going. That was good.
Well, he did that, and he put his arm around my shoulder, and I thought it was like an oak tree had fallen on me. And he said, I knew young Jim got his start. You tell him howdy from me, and I had long hair too when I started out like this, like it's so stylish today. And
he did.
And I said, yes, sir. I remember you. I've only seen it once, sir, but it was 1929, The Big Trail, directed by Raoul Walsh, and you were the young scout Breck Coleman or something like that. Uh-huh. And and he went, whoa, and they're all taking pictures. To this day, Matt, I have searched high and low. I have made
those pictures
to find the picture of me and John Wayne.
Really? Let me see if I have
You
any.
can't find it.
Really?
You can't find it.
Let's see.
It was the paparazzi, and I got close to one. I
can get AI to create it.
We could create that. Anyway.
Okay, I have a question.
And I'll tell you a humor story. Just to continue this.
Okay,
he said,
right.
Well, in my day, it wasn't stylish to wear my hair long like that, but I was playing this Frontier Scout. And he said, one day some prop guys were kidding me because I started in props over at Fox Studios. He was, and he said, they were kidding me about my hair, something, questioning my gender. And the guy walked over to me, and I said, you laughing at me? He said, yeah, what of it? I knocked him right on his keister, We want John Wayne to do that,
Yeah, you did.
So I laughed, and he said, you tell Jim Arness hi from me, and just because he wanted to tie that in.
Yeah.
He could have called Jim himself.
Of course.
They were great friends. And I later did a remake of Red River for CBS with Jim.
Right.
And I was cast first because I had just come off of Scarecrow and Mrs. King, and I was doing the Gambler movies also with Kenny Rogers, same time. Right. And CBS came to me, but there was a number of names for the play the Thomas Dunson role. And I only piped in saying there's only one actor that I could know that who was the John Wayne of television.
Mm-hmm. James Arness.
Who was mentored by John Wayne.
Yeah.
Who gave the first episode, "Hello there.
Yeah.
I'm John Wayne, and and he's introducing a young fella I think you're all going to like. It's called Gunsmoke."
Yeah.
And Jim Arness is blah, blah, blah. And he gave him the go-ahead on that.
Quite an endorsement.
Right?
An introduction.
He was dressed in his Searchers costume.
Yeah.
So they shot that where they were doing the Searchers with that adobe wall in back of him. And
what year was that, Gunsmoke?
54 on.
54.
It was 75.
Wow.
It went off, and I did
20 years.
Probably, yes,
basically.
and I did one of the last episodes of Gunsmoke. I didn't even work with him. I worked with Festus, Kenny, and Ken had also done not Cragen. It's my name,
Bruce.
Yes, Boxleitner. I remember that. Yeah, but anyway, Kenny also did a part on How the West Was Won later on. So but Festus, oh my God, what a character!
Here's a question that you can settle a great debate that Bo Brinkman and I have had for years.
Yeah,
John Wayne's hands and feet, were they big or were they small?
His feet, he probably for a man his size, he was probably 6'5".
I think it was 4 or 5. Yeah.
Now you got to remember in high-heeled cowboy boots too, because they didn't have flat boots
right
in those days. That cowboy had if you had bad arches, you didn't walk around cowboy boots
right
because they're made for a stirrup.
Yes, they're not made for walking.
They're not made for hiking.
Those boots are not made for walking.
No, they're not. Thank you, Nancy Sinatra. But
yes,
but hands, your hand disappeared in his. He had big old baseball mitts.
Okay, so Bo claims that they gave him special small revolvers so that it looked like his hands are big. And I said, that's bull, because everybody who meets him says his hands...
He shook my hand,
Yeah,
I know.
Shook my hand.
I couldn't feel it for 5 minutes.
And my hand disappeared. Big, meaty hands is what Glenn Campbell said. And he goes...
Glenn did too, yes.
And Bo said... Yeah, that's Hollywood. They all have to say that. And I said, Bo, you're just jealess.
I will disagree with
that John Wayne is beloved.
Yeah, no, yeah, because, he represented a certain thing, and they created that image. His name was Marion Morrison, and they created that name. They wanted his all-American name because that's what the studios knew. This big guy who had been a USC football player, busted up his shoulder surfing, and his football career was over. And he wanted to become a lawyer. He had high ambitions, and he was a poor kid from the other side of the tracks too. He was not moneyed people,
right?
And that nickname Duke came from because he used to go by the local firehouse, and he had a dog named Duke, and they would go, "There's Big Duke and Little Duke, go by,"
and he was Little Duke.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
No, the dog did.
No. He said I was Little Duke.
Was he Little Duke?
Yeah.
Why is my agent calling me? This is so Hollywood of me to do this.
Right in the middle.
Hold on 1 second.
Okay, hold on. I'll mute this.
Hi, Dave.
All right.
Well, we can acknowledge that happened.
Yeah, of course.
I embarrassingly, Matt, I thank you for pausing there.
Sure.
I apologize to the audience, but it's an ingrained thing in every actor. When your agent calls,
answer the phone.
Oh, you answer the phone.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's few and far between you hear from him. So whenever it happens, it could be important. He was just checking on me, and I was telling him how much fun I'm having here in Gettysburg, and he was just hoping everything's going great.
Good.
So anyway, there we were.
So I was looking at some of the comments here from our live viewers over on patreon.com/Addressing Gettysburg. Ken Curtis was Festus
I'm sorry.
on Gunsmoke.
Yeah.
And he did an appearance on How the West Was Won. He was a singer in the 40s with the Tommy Dorsey Band. He was in a lot of John Wayne movies. He was in
John Ford because he was married into the family too.
Oh, that's right.
He married, I think, Ford's daughter.
His daughter, I think you're right. It was his son-in-law.
Yeah.
And he did that in The Searchers when he's trying to court Lori while...
Gone again, skip to Maloo. And he had that West Texas accent.
Yeah.
When he sang in the Dorsey Band, this is big band music. This isn't cowboy tunes.
Right.
He had the most mellifluous voice. He could sing.
Well, even when he sings
replaced
Skip to Maloo.
Sinatra. He replaced Sinatra when Sinatra left with.
I didn't know that.
Yes.
Oh wow.
Yes.
Well, he does have a great voice because you could just tell
was part
from
of the Sons
when
of
he
the
sings.
Pioneers too.
Yes, that was the group he was in. I think during the Searchers, isn't that right? Or
during
prior?
that time, and even before and in between.
Yeah.
He was an active member of the Sons of the Pioneers, and but he could get urban too.
Yeah.
And he didn't have an accent, Ken.
Not a real one.
And so
that
all of us. Oh yeah, he could do that thing, us Huygens, and Festus. He invented that character. We all know these great lines, But and he was a good guy. I was thrilled to be working with Festus. I didn't get to work with Marshall Dillon and this is episode. I had no idea they were already over at MGM. We were at CBS in San Fernando Valley, and I had also done my first job there. It was a walk-on role in an episode of Mary Tyler Moore Show, and that was all in the same lot. And the thrill about doing that was, I remember during the rehearsing, they didn't need me for about half an hour, and it was getting near lunch. It was a rehearsal week. They used to rehearse for a week, shoot on Fridays. It was a 3-camera show, Mary Tyler Moore Show.
Yeah.
That's another thing, too. I used to watch these shows with my family. I got to do Baretta. I got to do, and Gunsmoke. I walked around the lot, and there was this, I forget what soundstage it was, and the doors were open. And it was probably around lunchtime, so everything was happening at the commissary for lunch. And I walked in, and I walked into the main street of Dodge City, all built on a interior of soundstage.
Oh, interior.
We had a big Western town lot back there too.
Yeah.
That was Hayes City. He was always going to Hayes City with a prisoner. If he wasn't on, he was at Hayes City. But I walked onto the street of Gunsmoke. There it was, full life. Buildings are way smaller, way down the street, so it gave a perspective of the distance.
Yes, of course.
And so when they lit it up, they also could have clouds going through the sky.
And what would those clouds be?
It was something projected. I don't know.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I didn't know it was before CGI. So,
right.
But anyway, there was Matt's office. There's the famous Long Branch Saloon where everything took place, Miss Kitty's place, and dirt in the streets, hitching rails, horses standing there. There was still some road apples sitting there. They'd probably taken the horses to water and feed them on lunch hour.
And this was indoors?
Indoors on a massive soundstage. That was typical of the television westerns. They had to do much more, Searchers was a big movie. They went out to Monument Valley and lived out there in tent cities and Goulding's Lodge. Yeah. I've been out there. It's pretty amazing.
I'd love to go out there someday.
It is. It's one of those bucket list things. If you're a fan, you need to go there. Yeah. Because that was John Ford's West. After that, other than Sergio Leone, who paid it in homage to Ford. Consciously, he put Once Upon a Time in the West out there. They shot for weeks out there, and Ford, after his movies, no filmmaker would touch the place.
Well, it was plagiarism. So I forget who it was, if it was Spielberg or one of those guys, but I was watching a thing about John Ford and it had one of the directors inspired by him talking. And they were talking about Monument Valley, and they said, you don't shoot a Western Monument Valley after John Ford because it's plagiarism. Like, that's John Ford's country.
He stamped it.
Yeah.
And
it's true, because then it just looks like you're trying to copy John Ford.
Yeah.
You know,
because why in the initial opening credits, who's starring? And at the very last frame, it's this beautiful thing of the buttes, the mittens and everything, all that are out there. And it's directed. And then it's directed by John Ford. And you know, this is the voice of God, okay? And it has a slight Maine man Irish, tinge to it.
And he shot it so well, and his shots. But The Searchers is one of my favorite movies.
Oh God,
just entertainment wise, and to study, like how to do it right, and what's the breakfast scene. When there's all this chaos and the camera does not move, there's no cut to a different angle. He
didn't believe in moving the camera unless it was absolutely necessary. And he came in on young John Wayne on Stagecoach, and it blurs.
Yes.
He zooms in the camera. He never did it. You didn't see a zoom on anything else.
Nope.
But he's introducing the Ringo Kid. John Wayne's starring role, finally, after doing 10, 11 years in these one-reeler Lone Star production westerns,
right,
one after another. But he learned his stock and trade on that. He's told, and he zooms in on that. So he zooms in when that door opens. Remember, the door opens in The Searchers. It begins our play. The cabin door, and you're in the interior, dark interior, and there's that stark outside.
Yeah,
the lighting, and there's Monument Valley out there. Most Europeans thought the entire West looked like that.
Yeah, sure.
He so epitomized it. I mean, he was out there, I think the Iron Horse even, but he was introduced to it. There's many stories as to how it was discovered, that he discovered it. John Wayne says he and Ford discovered it. And then Raoul Walsh and several other directors said, "What are you talking about? I was out there in 1926. I didn't get there till 29. These guys, they argue over the doggonest things. But it's a heck of a place. I did. I trailered with 4 horses with 2 other guys, a horse trailer all the way up to Wyoming. We did this big 50-man horseback ride for a week up in the Hole-in-the-Wall countries.
Yeah.
I used to belong to this group called the Hole-in-the-Wall Gang.
What ranch did you go up to?
It was on the KC, Wyoming ranch. KC was famous for a little scuffle they had up there called the Johnson County War. And it was a cattle war. And it was cattle barons and rustlers. Tom Horn came out of that, all that.
KC Ranch was the name of the ranch?
KC Ranch, and it was a ranch, and it had a town on the ranch. When you're talking ranches, you're talking hundreds of square miles.
They're huge. I went to one out of Casper, between Casper and KC.
Okay, so
called Willow Creek Ranch.
Yes, that was
and
there.
And the hole in the wall is part of their ranch.
Yep.
And
you went there.
Well, I went there.
Well, I camped there.
Yeah.
I camped there. 50 tents.
We had a cabin, but
yeah,
I would love to have camped.
And we,
see, I'm not a rich movie star, Bruce. I can't trailer my horse.
I know, but these are guys, I can appreciate that. I didn't own the trailer, and I didn't own the truck either.
Okay, good. I don't have a horse.
My pony on it, and my saddle and saddlebags and things like that. But But it was a wonderful experience, and so you really get a sense of when you do it that way. And on our trip back to California, we had to go back to Scottsdale, Arizona, and then the other 2 of us drove back to California. When we went there, I was dressed as Ben Johnson in Wagon Master. I had the suspenders, bib shirt, blue bib shirt, black hat, bandana around my neck, and that was on my cell phone for the longest time. Sunday morning, 3 of us posed, our Indian guide, our native Navajo guide, Delroy, took the picture of us, and it was quite special.
Yeah.
We did about 15 hours there, and he was quite remarkable. The horse he was riding, he was one of the wild horses. He caught and broke the old school
really?
way. They broke him, and quite an amazing thing.
I'll tell you, it is.
Yeah.
Another comment that somebody left here. Where did it go?
Any questions or anything?
Well, go ahead, guys. If you have questions, put them in the comments. I'll read them. Jeff Pasnick says, I love that he plays a role as Kirk Douglas's son because as I'm watching this, I would bet the farm that Bruce was a Douglas. So look at that.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's hitting on you or what, but
no. I sat in a little private airport when Michael Douglas and we were heading different directions on a private plane, and he was waiting for one too. And he said, Bruce, and I said, hi. I hadn't met him prior to that, and so he was and he says, I saw the thing you did with my dad. It was really good, very good. You remind me of me. And I said, yeah. He said the same thing.
Really?
Yeah. He said, you reminded me of. I said, I could be a Douglas.
That's interesting.
I was a lot taller, and I want to tell a kind of funny story about it.
But that's pretty keen, Jeff. Good job there.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you, Jeff. He would call me Big Galoot, and I'd call him Spartacus. And it was kind of fun.
Yeah.
And he'd go, now, I was somewhat taller. And that's the thing he did with Duke, who was really much taller, but I was taller. And I'd be standing off camera to do what we call his close-ups and things. It would be a single shot on him. So I would be standing, say, where I'm here, and the microphone here is, I'm off camera. I was camera left. This is camera right. To you, this is left.
Yes.
But what the camera see is I'm off camera left here.
Yes.
That would be your right.
You're talking the 180-degree rule, right?
Right. Yeah. So you'll be looking at me, and I'm being for your close-ups and your coverage. That's what they call it. It might be a shot like this called Cowboy, where that shot comes from. The early westerns. He's in the saddle.
Right.
So I want to just get the top part of him, his body. Whoops, sorry. Yep. Did I screw that?
It's all right. It's just a $5,000 microphone.
Well, it isn't anymore. Anyway, he would go, Big Galoot. Because he didn't want me looking up. He didn't want to be looking up
at you.
And it would have been crappy too.
Yeah.
I mean, it wouldn't.
You couldn't put him on an apple box?
Well, we did that. We once built up a porch so that he could walk out the door. And they wouldn't have to step up or anything. It was all these planks, right? But and for me, I'd kind of squat down a little lower, so his eyes would go right there. I'm doing this with Kirk Douglas.
Yeah,
talk about great. One of the great Earp sagas is Gunfight at the OK Corral with Burt Lancaster and him as Doc and Holland.
These guys. It's amazing. What a crop that generation of.
Well, they came out of World War II.
Right? Yeah,
I remember.
Yeah,
I always say they all look a little bit older than the fresh-faced guys that we've got now. Even I was a baby face for years. I was playing teenagers home almost late 20s and early 30s. But when you look at I would say that's the World War II generation. Then there was the generation of Cagney and all those guys before the war. But when you see Kirk was in the service, I think he saw it in the Pacific, believe it or not. A lot of they had like 2 or 3 years, 4 years taken out of it. The greatest one is the Jimmy Stewart. I did get to meet James Stewart. Well, and I would highly recommend, if you're a James Stewart fan, I highly recommend a book called Mission, Jimmy Stewart and the Air War over Europe. And you'll understand this kind of young, gangly leading man in the movies prior to the war, and then the much more serious actor doing these Anthony Mann Westerns
Yeah.
that are wonderful, but there's some darkness in there.
Yes.
And it's also Hollywood after the Second World War. There's a film noir, and these genres were rising up. Even the Western took on a darker, more complicated view of the West. Searchers could be thrown into that too. You know, it wasn't all good guys and bad guys.
Right.
And it bled into each other.
The Searchers is very dark.
When you see Winchester 73 and you see The Naked Spur, and these were a director named Anthony Mann, did these very gritty Westerns, and Jimmy Stewart was his leading man. It's not that young from the Philadelphia story prior to the war. Jimmy Stewart led bomber groups, B-24 Liberators over Europe.
Yeah.
And the 8th Air Force. And he came back a different man.
Yes.
And that book really, it starts off with about to hear action from Frank Capra. Frank Capra in a beautiful little movie called It's a Wonderful Life. We see every Christmas season. And he's about to come running down the fake snowflake street of Bedford Falls going, hello, Bedford Falls,
Right.
hello, savings and loan. And, you know, he's gone through this epiphany.
Right, right.
And it starts off with that book. I'm giving this guy a big plug, but that's the prologue to it. It starts off that way. And he is having a massive PTSD breakdown.
Yeah.
He has it one other time in the movie, and Capra kept the thing going. He literally is in the bar, and he's at his wit's end. The town, the money is stolen. He loses that money. The whole town's at him. You know, he's lost the savings loan. His life is imploding, and he starts trembling and praying to God. God, help me. And that's when little Clarence, the angel, he's about to meet him. You know, every time a bell rings, an angel gets his wings. She just passed away, by the way. That wonderful actress.
Really?
That was he played his little daughter. Anyway, that movie's very close to me. I love it every year. Every year I see it. But it said that the Vivids, he never had that, and he was sweating, and it was coming upon him, and he's hearing those machine guns and those roaring engines and the blowing up of planes and men going down and the hell in the air.
It's got to be horrible.
Yeah. He was flying those bomber runs.
I mean, that was the thing. Did you watch Masters of the Air?
Loved it.
Did you?
I read the book too, Donald Miller.
For me, because Band of Brothers, The Pacific, Saving Private Ryan, all great combat scenes.
Great movies.
All scare the shit out of me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know what the Masters of the Air combat scared out of me, because it was, it's unfathomable to me that these guys are up there in the air in these freezing cold airplanes, right?
Open sides, because those machine guns were hanging out there.
Yeah, thin shells, it's not, there's no insulation, nothing, right?
And they're 88 millimeter cannons firing from the ground at you.
Yes. And
called flak.
And you're looking out and you see another plane lose its wing and just go tumbling down. Everybody's gone. Yeah. You know, and that could be you at any minute. Or you're
counting the shoots. Come on, fellas, get out of there.
Yes.
She's going down.
Yeah.
And you can hear them on the mic. 1. There's 2. There's 3, because you got 11 men on there per crew. Did you know that in that, and speaking of this now, we've kind of gone over, off the topic here.
Right.
But that stuff, he came back a very matured man more. He was still
Jimmy
young.
Stewart.
Yes, he was.
Yeah.
He remained in the Air Force all the way he died a brigadier general.
Yes.
In the United States Air Force.
Yes.
He flew some missions during the Vietnam War, and he lost his son-in-law in the Vietnam War.
So anyway, he flew, I never heard this. He flew missions during the Vietnam War.
Yeah, he did.
Unbelievable.
He was still an active duty soldier.
Wow. I
don't know what he did Korea, but I think, he was a brigadier general by the time he died.
God Lord.
And we don't have that generation anymore.
No, we don't. But that's, you brought that up. You brought them up.
His daughter he said he never talked about it. That's very common.
Oh, sure.
Hear from the old veterans. They never talked about it.
My grandfather only told me the fun stories. He never told me the bad stories.
Yeah, because there probably were some.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You brought up the World War II generation and how I think what you were going with was they all kind of looked older. In the Hollywood guys. Yeah. They all kind of looked older than they actually were. Yeah. And you're right. You're right, because I think of all of them, to me, they all looked like they started their career at 40, but they were 25, 30 years old, whatever.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
But then you guys came along, because you're the next generation.
Yeah, the 60s and the 50s, because that bled into the 50s and into the 60s. Sure. They were older men. But if you want to take a look, also one of my other John Wayne, John Ford collaborations, wonderful World War II movie, They Were Expendable, about the PT boats when we were losing the war in the Philippines, and the Japanese were running over everything. Just after it takes place just before Pearl Harbor, they're out in Subic Bay and all of that in the Philippines on these plywood boats that the Navy's still not quite sure about. The big old admirals and that. Well, we'll test your boats, but they're good for mail runs between islands.
Yeah.
These guys were wanting to test it as a combat. And later on, look at John F. Kennedy.
Yep.
His was cut in two by a Japanese destroyer in the night battle against them.
I can't imagine that.
Running in their big plywood boats,
But your generation comes along, and you guys are all, like you said, like baby faced, right? You look younger.
I think so.
I agree with you.
I'm 75 now, and when I got to Hollywood, I was turned 23 in Hollywood.
Yeah,
and all those guys, Mark Harmon, all my contemporary guys. So many of them some are gone, and I'm still hanging, but. Yeah, we looked like the young general. We all looked like the Beatles. I mean,
But I'm saying the World War II guys didn't really.
Jim Arness was a veteran. He was in the Anzio invasion and the Big Red One. He was an infantryman. And a funny side story on that. I don't think I'm telling something I shouldn't. All those years on Gunsmoke, and then you had Dennis Weaver playing Chester Good, his deputy in the beginning, and. Chester had a stiff leg, and he'd have to, Mr. Dillon.
Yeah.
He had that high-pitched voice, with it. And, that was an actor thing. They wanted something different because, he was a pretty handsome-looking guy, Dennis. So he's playing this real hayseed character, and so they gave him another extra thing that would be more character, and Jim is the leading man of the place. Okay, can't have two leading men and one, And so, pardon me.
Sorry.
I told you once you get me talking, I'm never going to get off this bloody thing.
I know.
Anyway, the joke was that, and Jim told me this, that they'd be walking down Dodge City Street, and Chester's talking away, but he's limping on his leg, and Jim is walking perfectly good. Marshall Dillon, straight, big strides. As soon as they yelled cut, Jim started limping, and Dennis would walk regularly. He could get blood back in his leg, because Jim had been wounded severely in the leg, walking into a German machine gun nest. Mm-hmm. He was the point man, and he was an infantry squad in that battle for Anzio, and then laid aboard those big hospital ships that were literally up on the beach. Open air, and the German Luftwaffe was strafing the ships. And so any man that could hold a gun, here they are, just because they just had so many wounded. Mm. The ships it was below. But he didn't talk much about, other than that, and that's in his autobiography too, that he, that's how he got back, and he had, I think he was a year in hospital. Mm. But he always had that. So by the time we start, I'm now meeting him and working with him. He's doing this raunchy mountain man, wild Rebellion character, or whatever you call it, character, Zeb McCann. Uh-huh. And he could use that limp.
Right.
rocked back and forth with that because it looked like some battle wounds with a Sioux warrior or something, and so it worked perfectly for him. But I know he had trouble with that for years.
I have Jeff says another thing here. He says, "What an amazing career." I believe he's talking about yours, not mine.
Okay.
I really enjoy hearing these stories. Thank you, Bruce, for doing this interview. Hard to not open up. Oh, thank you. Hard to not open up to Matt when he is in the interviewing zone. That is very true. A lot of people can't resist speaking when I sit them down in this chair. Your thoughts? That disgusted look on your face was...
Yeah, Matt,
Bruce doesn't need my help opening up.
No, just have dinner with me.
Yeah, right. By the way...
I tend to have to talk about self-awareness. I have to wake up and realize I got to let somebody else talk at the dinner table. As your beautiful bride there, I'm looking at her going, oh my God, did I just see her eyes roll back in her head? She was tired from work.
Tired.
I understand that, but I've bored people.
I told her yesterday when we got home, I said, so Bruce, one of the first things he said to me when he got in the car was, I sure hope I really didn't bore Cindy to death the other night at dinner. And she goes, oh, no, I was tired. I said, no, I explained it. And I told him, and this is true. I said, Cindy likes you, and she goes, I do. I actually, and she told me to tell you this.
That's sweet.
When I texted her and said, do you want to go out to dinner with Bruce tonight and me? Mm-hmm. She said, yes. And she goes, tell him that if it was anybody else, I would have said no because I was too tired.
That's sweet.
She would have said, go on your own.
Yeah.
So she likes you and she loves listening to you
my
talk.
wife, Verena, would have been with us.
Well, that's
and they would have had probably some things to talk about.
They could have gone off to the bar and talked about
right.
girl things.
Yes.
Yeah.
Actually, my wife, I don't know, maybe Cindy, I think Cindy's kind of the same way. She doesn't want to go off and talk girl things.
Cindy.
She wants to be right there talking with the guys and talking whatever subject.
Yes. Cindy.
Verena's always about what the guys are doing. She says, I'd rather hang out with the guys than most girls anyway. The other gals,
Yeah, she
not that she's
the only thing Cindy would say is that she's like, I've had enough of the Civil War talk. That's
my gosh,
that's enough.
Right.
Yeah,
I can imagine that.
Well, I tell her I had
you live in it.
I don't want to go socialize and talk about the Civil War anymore. I talk about it all day.
I know.
And it's depressing stuff, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not like
this
talking about
Disneyland.
Disney. Exactly.
This isn't Orlando.
No,
I mean,
it's talking about people getting their legs blown off and PTSD,
heads blown off,
and alcoholism.
But that stuff.
Terrible.
I just, but if you don't mind, I'd like to just pick up my favorite generation of movie stars is the World War II generation.
Yeah,
and they all came out of that.
Yeah,
whether they served or not. A lot of them didn't. And some that were too old to be drafted carried on when the other younger ones were away. Or they did, like John Ford's special unit, they did propaganda films.
Sure.
I mean, basically, we had our own.
Did you see Five Came Back?
Five Came Back is probably one of the best documentaries I've ever seen.
Very good.
And all their commentary.
Yeah. Fascinating. And those guys
William
came
Wyler
back
and
with some
he came
problems.
back half deaf.
Yeah.
Because he was up doing that incredible movie called The Memphis Belle about the 21st, 25th mission, and they got to go home. They survived 25 missions. What were your chances in a B-17 or 24 Liberator?
Yeah. Not very high.
They actually had more casualties than all the Marines lost in the Pacific. Did you know that? The Air Force itself.
I didn't know that. Oh, the 8th Air Force. I think I did hear that back when.
Which would have been the air war. They were the first Americans being killed against Nazi Germany because we didn't get over there to North Africa and 42, I think. But they were some of the first. Anyway, away from that, I just endorsed Jimmy Stewart a lot. But that generation I've always loved because maybe being in the next generation and also that first generation of television fans, I remember getting a television. Not everybody had a television.
Right.
This is a big misconception that we all had a television. I think of my earliest memories as a little baby boy, where some young people in the neighborhood. They were all young. A lot of them were. My dad didn't go, and I saved him from Korea being born. But a lot of them were vets, and they came over to watch this television mount my dad brought home. Yeah, from the neighborhood.
Yeah.
Not everybody had one.
And was it one of those big, huge things with a tiny screen?
No. Well, not big. It was, the box probably was bigger than,
like
but
the screen
was
wasn't
a tiny screen.
Yeah. But it was fascinating
to watch Milton Berle, or I remember there was wrestling on and things like that. But I watched, that's when I became a 54, 55. So I was a Disney kid. There was Zorro. My favorite, though, will always be, and my first TV hero was Davy Crockett.
Fess Parker.
And I live in Tennessee now because of that.
Yeah.
No. But it is the greenest state in the land of the free.
Yeah, is it? How do you like Tennessee?
I love it.
Yeah, you're new there.
I'm outside of Nashville.
Yeah.
I live on a lake.
A lot of Civil War stuff around you.
I'm surrounded by the Civil War, yes. The Battle of Franklin. The Confederate Army of Tennessee. John Bell Hood, Schofield, all those names reverberate around there, and Battle of Franklin, I think there's a lot of new history there too. They're saying it closely follows this one, so far as carnage and the size of it.
Yes.
It was a running fight, more or less. That took several weeks of trying to, but you had John Bell Hood crashed his army on the breastworks of Nashville.
Yeah. Do you go exploring around there a lot?
Yes.
Just on your own, or do you go with a guide? Or
no, oh my God, friend Marty Cove and I have gone, just getting in the car, and because there's all kinds of signs. You know what? They're very conscious of. They're trying to slow up. The Nashville area is booming.
Yeah.
And what's always threatened? Those battlefield things in the history. And Franklin is it's a very well-to-do, should I say? It's a nice area, They have probably one of the great reenactments. I've been told, I haven't been to it, but they have a massive reenactment that will rival anything done.
Really? Anything done here too? Have you been to ours?
I'm not trying to compare, because I haven't seen.
Yeah,
I know you have the big ones here.
Yeah.
Obviously Pickett's Charge and all that sort of thing too. But there is a sizable community of reenactors, and there's people come from all over too, like they do here. But what I love about this place is that they've managed to stave off the 21st century as much as possible too, and you're conscious of keeping it alive, it preserved here, as it should be. That generation asked you to do that, by the way.
Right.
This was to go down forever.
Right.
Abraham Lincoln gave his life for this stuff.
Yeah. He did.
Seriously.
Yeah, he did.
He was one of the last casualties of the Civil War.
Yeah.
Dumbass Booth,
Dumbass actor.
What he didn't, this is what I'm saying. He's given us a bad name the whole time, but also he was the great. What he didn't realize in his insanity is that he lost this. I don't care. I'll probably get screamed at by a lot of them here, but he lost the South's best friend.
Yeah.
He took and you had to suffer the Reconstruction that happened.
I always wonder
and a vengeful North.
How would history have been different had Lincoln lived and finished the second term?
He said, "Let them up easy. They're our brothers again." Mm-hmm. Now he didn't. Remember, he never acknowledged the Confederacy.
That's true.
In any written document.
Right.
Those people.
Yeah. Yeah. They weren't a legitimate nation. In his
he
mind.
refused to.
Yeah.
So. That's probably to keep his own sanity.
So you were shooting, to go back to something in the beginning, you were shooting at the Schmucker house the other day.
Yes.
And I understand that you were particularly fond of my friend Judy's cookies. Gettysburg
Judy's cookies. Yes, the Gettysburg. Yes, this is the constant fight being an actor. Even at this age, can I just let it go? but you have to stay in shape. And these kids today, they have to take their shirt off and their pants, by the way. At least my generation kept our pants on, boys.
Right. It was always shirtless, yeah.
But we were lean and long.
Right.
They have to have muscles, and they have to have these bulging muscles and 8-packs. And, I saw poor Eric Nelson. Mm-hmm. He had to go work out. This kid had to go crawl through the mud and the rain and everything here, who plays Thomas.
Right,
He's
right.
trying to make his way home.
Yep.
Wonderful actor. If you haven't seen 1883, he's a good part of it.
I interviewed him when he was here last time and we talked about 1883 basically the whole time, I think.
Sure. So I think he's one of, if I could say that, at Taylor Sheridan's discoveries, and really good. And I'm very happy that he's in this.
So you can't eat the cookies, but you do anyway? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
If there's a heroine for me, it's cookies.
Yeah.
And they were wonderful. And I had not only one, I had two.
Oh, boy.
One was the equivalent of two.
So
probably,
I was going to say,
had 4
you
cookies.
had 4 cookies, yeah, because they're big cookies. Which one
and
do you
she
remember?
kept luring me with them, too. She's standing there doing little yada yada with me in the background.
Yeah.
Okay. And then I'm supposed to leave her. And she's telling me, you have to have some of my cookies.
What did you
like
say?
some of my cookies?
Oh, would you like some of my cookies?
Yeah. You know how we were supposed to talking or not really talking. They'll put that in there later if they want something. But
so while
we're shooting.
Oh.
I'm reading her lips, she's saying cookies, and it's like
she's tempting you with the cookies.
Yes.
Scene. Oh, that's funny.
Seductress with cookies.
That is funny. That is funny. Well,
and it's wonderful. So
you'll have to grab some from her before you go back home. Bring some for Verena.
I have to, yeah.
Right. They're made with real butter, I'm sure.
No, she can't take butter either.
Oh,
but I do.
But you take it anyway.
Yeah, I'll take it anyway.
Do you remember which ones you had?
I don't know. It was an oatmeal raisin.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, I loved them. I'm giving her a big shout out and endorsement here.
Good, yeah. No,
Gettysburg
Cookie Company. Yeah,
very simple, folks.
Yep,
it's not hard to remember.
No, it isn't.
And go, give her some business.
There you go.
Because they're very good. I endorse them, and if I've put on a couple pounds, it's because of her. No, I'm just kidding.
It's all Judy's fault.
I'm just kidding. No, you know what it gave me initially? I think I had it towards the end of the day. I was flagging a little bit.
Oh, so she saved you.
A little perk. I needed a little.
There you go. Gettysburg Cookie Company, saving lives.
Saving lives.
There you go.
Yeah.
One cookie at a time.
One sweet tooth at a time, yes. But anyway, I'm anxious to see. I hope, this is a small movie. From what I'm told, there would be some theatricalness to it, but it will stream as well, because that's where everything's got to go now.
Yeah.
And so I hope people look forward to it. I know we're going to have a premiere. I will be back here, Matt.
Probably end of the year.
Come hell or high water, as they say, to the premiere of it.
I'm looking forward to seeing it.
It'll be fun.
I think this one was actually going to be better than the first one. I feel like just for my one day on the
certainly
set.
for Gettysburg.
Yeah.
Because
it's true. It's the Gettysburg
about
story.
Your story, but it's not the story everyone has seen. Going back to our very beginning of the conversation, 6 hours ago.
Yes.
But no, that's good. I think it's going to be a good thing.
Yeah, I think people need to keep in mind that this is a post-battle movie. This isn't a battle movie.
But it's about coming in on the first Christmas after.
Yeah.
That's a landmark.
But it's dealing with what the civilians had to deal with after the battle. And
the war is still going on. It's not over.
No, and it's an adventure for the main character, Thomas, because he's escaping a Confederate prison camp and trying to get home. And all the adventures along the way there. So, I mean,
we have our enslaved people, and they're not just a background; they're flesh and blood. We have an actual one here, Basil Biggs.
Yep.
Who, I'm kind of in league with.
Yeah.
Schmucker is, and
most importantly, though, I'm a featured extra.
And that is important.
And that is what's going to make this one over the other one.
Though as I'm giving my sermon, I did say from the pulpit, did I not? And Matt, it'd be great if you were awake to listen to this.
Yes, you did.
You know,
I wasn't asleep.
I actually got the
resting my
perspective.
eyes.
I actually got the perspective of probably most priests and reverends. They stand up before that, and how many faces are still sitting up, but the eyes are closed.
Right, or the heads are just
And the
completely
head is
ducked
just
into the
down
chest.
into the chin.
Yeah.
Is in the chest, and
I was
speak up a little louder.
I was fully awake. I was just
You could have
resting
heard me.
my eyes.
I understand. Oh my gosh!
And that was between.
Sadly, that was me in Sunday school half the time. I mean,
Yeah, me too.
I was raised Methodist.
Oh, were you?
Oh yes, I knew many Lutheran.
What
kids.
what is the Methodist service like? Is it informal? I was Catholic.
Yeah, my wife is Catholic, and I want to tell you that, and I say this lovingly and jokingly. I attended a Christmas Mass one time with her, and it must have been a long day, and it was midnight Mass. I'm 2 hours past my bedtime anyway, but I said, there's too much exercise to all this. I'm down on my knees. And she said, I guess now if you're not Catholic and you're you can remain sitting, or if you're a certain age, you get down on my knees and then get up again. Even then, it was a few years back.
Yeah.
I'm going,
Yeah. And they have
and I don't know the songs.
When they have cushions on the kneelers now, when I was a kid, they had nails. That's what they would put, nails. And we'd have to balance on a nail on our kneecaps.
That's to keep you awake.
Yes, it was.
Yeah, keep your attention.
Yeah, and we couldn't slouch and put our butts on the. We had to stay up
but
straight.
you tried that.
Yeah, oh, of course we did.
You tried that. You told me that night.
And then we'd feel a book come flying at our heads. It was terrible. And that was just the 1980s. And my father said it was worse for his generation. So who knows?
But, I knew some Lutheran people too, and I live in the Bible Belt. So, I mean, Tennessee, there's churches galore. And she had to find, I think, a Catholic church, I think, in Thompson Station. That's not far from us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, a couple more questions, and I'll let you go.
Oh.
Okay. Mr. Gutty says, you guys talked earlier about getting older and seeing the way the medium has been going. What ultimately draws you into a film or a movie as a watcher and an actor? Are you looking for depth ultimately, or a paycheck? I'm adding the paycheck part. Because sometimes you got to do it for the money, right? You have to.
I've had to do things I would, if I had had a choice.
Yeah.
I could have maybe, no, not this time.
Right.
But there's mortgages and things like that.
Sure.
I had kids put through school and things like that.
Gotta work.
So,
did any of those things turn out to be something that was a bigger hit for you than you imagined?
Yeah. There's some crazy stuff I've done. Look, during COVID, I was in a 3-hour makeup. I was an alien on Seth MacFarlane's short-lived show. It was only 2 seasons of a thing called, it was a homage to Star Trek, but it was kind of knowing Seth MacFarlane, it's going to have a little smirk to it.
Sure. Yeah.
But it was straight on space adventure. There's the command and control of the chair, What
was that called?
It's called the Orville.
The Orville, that's right.
Named after Orville and Wilbur Wright. The ship was called the Orville. It was, but tremendous effects, tremendous sets. They had massive sets on the 20th Century lot. And I played the alien president of the Planetary Union. And, Ted Danson was in it. And, oh, my gosh, we had a bunch of former TV guys.
I'm surprised.
We're not former, but we had shows we were known for.
Right.
And Babylon 5 was mine, and Tron, and all that.
Scarecrow,
yeah.
You're pretty lucky. Obviously there's some talent and smart decisions that go with it too, but there's a good deal of luck
in luck.
Getting into successful shows and having the longevity that you've had.
Yeah. So like I said, all the way back to when James Arness said, no, I like this young fella. I'd like him to play young McCann.
Do you think if that didn't happen, you wouldn't have had a career, or it just would have been different?
It's one of those what if questions.
Right. What if Jackson was at Gettysburg? What if James Arness didn't recommend Bruce Boxleitner?
Yeah.
What would have happened? Yeah.
I don't know what direction I might have taken. I might not be sitting here. A good possibility I wouldn't be sitting here.
What a nightmare. Think about it. What would your life have been if you weren't a guest on Addressing Gettysburg? I mean,
Well,
do you even want to go down that road?
well,
Bruce?
since I've returned here.
Yes.
3 years later, if I hadn't done it 3 years ago, you'd have never known me.
A lot of people say that it was the interview you did last time that made it that
Yes.
Bo said, let's use him again.
Yeah. I think that's
It's
probably it.
Nothing to do with your talent or your friendship or
having
anything
been
like
with
that.
him in Guys and Generals.
Right.
And both of us working with the great Robert Duvall, may I throw that in?
Yes.
Who he knew the story that we were basically married to the same woman. I was still married to her, and he was an ex. And as we were, Walter Taylor and James Longstreet riding beside him in several scenes, he'd go, "Hey, here I am. I got to tell you, here I'm with the two husbands. Here was then and now." He named us, and he'd laugh about it. In that, what do you know? Here I am with them. The two husbands.
That's a good Duvall.
Mutt and Jeff. I mean, he had a new name for us always.
That's great. Yeah, I don't remember if it was you or Bo told me a story that you were hanging out in your hotel room and Melissa, your then wife, called, and Bo answered the phone.
Yeah.
Do you remember that story? Tell us.
Some reason he was in there. I think it was a number of people. We were all sitting around watching something or having a
hanging out.
Party afterwards, hanging out, having a beer or something. And that's.
I think he told me this because he said I answered the phone.
He's the only one who got a kick out of it.
Yeah. He said I answered the phone, and she goes, "What the hell are you doing in his room?" And she's
collaborating with the enemy.
Let me talk to Bruce. And he goes, "It's your wife."
It's your wife.
Yeah.
No, it's yours. It was yours.
It was yours. Yeah.
Yes. No, it's been an unusual thing, and I think the kids in this crew here get kind of a kick out of it. But obviously, we.
At Digital History Pioneers Foundation, we are about grassroots history on digital platforms. That means we are about podcasters, documentarians, YouTubers, and even TikTokers. All of these creators are out there trying to share their love of history with the public. They don't need ideas, they need funding, both from viewers and corporate donors. DH Pioneers' initial funding focus is on the Civil War era, with a special emphasis on the Addressing Gettysburg podcast. So be a vital part of the unique content Addressing Gettysburg has in store by donating at dhpioneers.com and help bring your love of history to the people. Digital History Pioneers is an IRS Section 501c3 approved charitable corporation that makes any donation tax deductible to the fullest extent of the law.
I think that's nice, though. I mean, yeah, here's something. We talked about this at dinner on Friday night before the church scene. Mm-hmm. I was talking about how what the hell was it? During Eric's interview, he some other actor came up and he said something complimentary, of course, and I wanted to ask him as the follow-up question, you said that he's a wonderful actor and everything like that. I'm like, is that contractual for all you guys to say that stuff? Because it seems that every time you see an interview with somebody, they never say he's all right. I mean, why would you? But it's everybody is so lofty with their compliments, and I mean, I'm sure you're 90% telling the truth that you do think this person's good. I would say 90,
right? But in that 90%. I think if you've been doing it long enough, you do kind of admire.
Yeah, well, I'm sure, and that's what I'm saying is the 90%.
There is an admiration, and we're very free to say it. I mean, I think genuinely, I don't think I've lied very much about it or shaded the truth a little bit. I mean, I've always I always admire other actors. Like sitting on stage last night with
Stephen Lang.
Steve. I mean, I'm a fan as well.
Yeah. Yeah, we were talking
I don't know, there wasn't this guy really does have that chameleon-like quality about him.
Yes.
I love George Pickett.
Yeah.
Why do I like the George Pickett portrayal? His flamboyance and his he gave him this dash, this cavalierness that maybe, I don't know if the real one had that, but boy, Stevens did. If the real George Pickett wasn't like that, he should have been.
He should have been, yeah. Yes.
When the legend becomes fact, print the legend.
I think he's...
And I know with reenactors that doesn't fly. They want the real fact.
They want the facts.
They want it realism. But
they want their audience sleeping.
We're doing movies.
Yeah. Right.
It is a tad larger than life, is it not?
It is. It is. And no, but he's... Because we were talking about him yesterday, and, to go from Pickett to Jackson. Ike Clanton, Pickett... or Pickett and Ike Clanton, whichever came first, and then Jackson, and then all the other roles that he's done.
Yes. I mean, look at these two that he's got, like two of them, I guess, where he plays this crazy, violent man who's blind, and these kids in the neighborhood, it's called Breathe or something.
Oh, is that came out a couple of years ago, right?
Yeah, but there's been a sequel already.
Okay.
And... or Don't Breathe.
Don't breathe.
That.
I think it's Don't Breathe.
But because they are pranking him.
Yeah.
But it goes too far. And then they awaken a beast, a blind beast.
Oh boy.
Who really knows his house.
Oh.
And he knows how to set the traps.
Ooh.
And he traps these kids in the house, and it's like the mice in the maze.
Oh, I'll have to watch
this. He's hunting them down.
This. Yeah.
And Stephen is scary as all get out.
Now.
But he's got to play a blind man.
Yeah.
So I watch those little things of reaching and doing and feeling and all that. He's got to very consciously do that. He's a very good actor. He's a great actor. And he's a character man that we always need.
Yeah, right.
Even if he's the leading man in this one, but it's a horrific leading man, not in the classic sense. But Ike Clanton, so far as a Western, if I'd been Wyatt Earp, I said it on stage last night, I said, the first moment I met you, I'd have shot you dead right there because this guy kept coming.
Yeah.
And you were a cowardly, disgusting,
he really was
drunken
slob.
reprobate.
He was just a slob.
Yeah, just pushing, bullying everybody, and hitting the bartender because he didn't like the way you looked at him. And, I said, I've never really talked with Stephen about that. I walked up to him during the shooting of Gods and Generals. By the way, I opened it up last night when I got on stage with them. I said, by the way, Steve, I want to thank you for always let me borrow your car when we were down there in Hagerstown, because my God, man, you were in every scene. You had a rental car, and you never got to use it. So I drove all over Maryland. Everybody, I went out to Antietam how many times? Or pardon me, Sharpsburg, depending on who's listening. And walked that battlefield because I had a knee operation months that year, and I was still exercising my leg, and so I'd get out to the Sharpsburg battlefield and walk those rolling hills, walk all the way from the parking lot near where Dunker's Church is out there. I think it's the Dunker Church. Right. And all the way to the Burnside Bridge and back, and then go up the tower, down the sunken lane, all that sort of thing. And it's a great park, by the way, too. Yeah. And I want to interject, that's what Franklin is becoming more aware of, saving their battle sites, the Carter House, the various parts, in Nashville. They're desperately fighting off overdevelopment.
Yeah,
but anyway, that's what I asked.
Struggle.
I thanked Steve about that, and he laughed. He said, "Did I do that?" I said, "Yeah, you gave me the rental car, but I think you used it while we were there. I don't know, maybe twice. Yeah. I don't know,
because he never had
it was
a day
in the
off.
parking lot of the hotel we were all staying. So you said, "Yeah, take it." And
that's got to be hard to play a blind man, and this is how I know I'm not a good actor. I auditioned once to play the part of a blind person, and they said, "Let's just improvise a bit. So you're blind, I'm your wife, and I come in and I say, okay, go." And so she came in and she said, "Honey, do you want a beer?" And I said, "What?"
Not a deaf man.
And I get him confused.
And then walked into the door jam, right? I mean, you were like,
they just said, "Thank you, Mr. Calorie." And that was enough.
No, Stephen gets it, and it's all like all the lights are off.
Yeah.
It's all this great shadow play that they do in these movies.
I'll watch that.
Because I don't think they're giant budgets.
Right.
Don't have to be.
Right.
But Stephen brings that fierceness of his,
I've had
his power to it.
I've been playing cat and mouse with him since 2018 to come on the show. And I've been a fan of his work for a very long time.
For sure.
And, had a whole bunch of questions. I forgot them all by now because I've given up on getting him on. But he's great. I anything he's in. I love him in Hostiles. We were talking about Hostiles yesterday.
And that was young Scott Cooper who played one of the Jackson Five.
Yeah,
we called him the Jackson Five. Let me tell you about that real quick.
Okay.
He had, oh my gosh, my memory. I can memorize lines, but sometimes I get names and faces, but I'll think of his name. But he had 5 young actors. And last night on stage, he said, as Jackson, he treated them the same way off camera. Tread lightly around him. Okay? Tread lightly. Because I heard about this, and I saw it in action. And he said, I have 5 things. And I can only name, know your lines. Know your lines. Number 2, don't be carrying sides. We have a little mini version of the script that the scenes for the day to explain to the audience. The scenes for the day are called sides, and that's the scenes we're going to be doing. Okay. The shooting of that day. And so that's, if you don't know your lines, you're going to carry your sides in there and you're going to walk around the set trying to memorize your lines. I do it all the time. So I couldn't have been the Jackson 5. He would have lined me up against the wall and shot me. So, and then there was something else, beyond time. In fact, if you're not early, you're late.
You're late, right.
And he says, this is the way I would have been. That's why I always dealt with him as Jackson would deal with his immediate men there, his young officers. And they did. They hopped in. Scott Cooper was one of them. And I don't know if he knew Robert Duvall before then, but Scott has turned into a magnificent film director. He got Jeff Bridges a much-deserved Oscar for Crazy Heart. And then you mentioned Hostiles, and there's another one with, who's the British actor I want to talk about? That was the star.
Christian Bale.
Christian Bale.
Yeah.
Another one called the Cauldron or something like that. It was a crime out in the country thing that Bale was in. But he's a great director, and he's got his start on Gods and Generals.
Yeah,
young lieutenant somebody or other.
Yeah, I looked him up to refresh my memory, and I forget the name of the person, but I definitely recognize him from the staff.
When Jackson died, and that backs off, and Kali Roca got her head on the bed holding his hand, and he's sitting there in the corner. All of his young guys were there, just grieving.
Yeah.
As he passed away.
Yeah.
The young doctor, what's his name?
McGuire.
Dr. McGuire was
Hunter
McGuire in the room.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we all got to know each other there. And I just find his Jackson was absolutely wonderful. The difference between his portrayal, and this is a sign of a great actor, he was very different from George Pickett. Same army, only one died sooner. And then his Jackson was biblical.
Yeah, literally.
Always quoting the
Bible. Yeah,
and that's not easy to do and sell it. Okay.
No,
it's not easy to do, and that's what my challenge was having to do this because we're speaking in. Also, I said last night, as Stephen knows, we write these scripts. It's kind of more at that time, and when we did those movies. It was the 20th century,
right?
But I dare say that we would talk to a 19th century person. I think sometimes you'd go, "What did he just say?"
Yes,
because it isn't. They didn't talk.
Do you think if you were talking to like the everyday man on the street, you would be that way, or are you talking when it's a formal thing like a sermon?
No, I think any half-educated. I just think they worded things. Read anything that Abe Lincoln wasn't a greatly educated man. He came from poverty. He read his way. He educated himself. But still, when you see letters written, it's still some of the syntax. It's different.
Yeah, but that's because that's
read letters. I mean, that's
the
best
record you're leaving of yourself. Is back then, right?
Well, everything was a text or an email. You know.
Well, that's
what we do now. We abbreviate things.
We abbreviate, but we also abbreviate things in our speech, like let alone our writing. But
we have different
my point
slang than they did.
People will get to know who you and I were based on watching recordings of us. They didn't have that for Lincoln and all those people, right? So the only record of what that person was like was what they left on paper. And so they're going to leave, they're going to write.
More flowery, or you saying
I think they're going to write better
but
than they
just
speak.
Sentence structures are different.
Yes.
I wish I could show an example. If I had a minute here, I'd pull up the script on the phone because see, I have.
Do you remember the line? The sermon?
So no, I don't remember this, a lot of the sermon. The speech I gave the other day, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you for being here with us tonight. My home, like so many others, was ransacked and almost destroyed. That's almost a speech too, because I'm gathering people at a party and I'm getting everybody's attention,
right?
Which will eventually lead to, shall we pray? But he says, I am so proud of our citizens for their bravery and resilience under the most horrific circumstances ever experienced. Our faith in God has given us the strength to endure. Now, that's not really different. I guess it is. And then he says, charitable sacrifices for others when they themselves had little to give is an example of the acts of of kindness and brotherhood. Brotherly love. And I get that isn't a perfect example, but I just say we would say a word, we would say a part of a phrase. Today we would say it. They would say it first, and then it would follow. It's hard to explain.
Yeah, no, I know.
There's a certain difference.
We're lazier now, so we say it as quickly as possible.
Yes, I think also, but listen to some of the dialogue. You know, even in Gods and Generals and Gettysburg, certainly. Lee Martin had to say some things. It's just there's a different cadence, maybe. Mm-hmm. Listen, I live in Tennessee. Mm-hmm. When I hear a real Tennessean, there was a much bigger difference between the North and South.
Sure.
Language-wise.
Oh, yeah.
And what I resent the most is people in the North still, they hear a Southern accent, they think someone dumb.
Oh, yeah.
I grew up under that prejudice in Illinois.
Really?
In Northern Illinois. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
What, with the Illinois accent? Or you?
There was no.
Oh, you were taught to think that about Southern people?
Yes.
Oh, gotcha.
You thought they were an ignorant redneck. Mm-hmm.
I'm sure that's
I still rankle under that because it's certainly not the truth.
No, I grew up, Northern Virginia is not quite the South, but compared to Northern New Jersey,
Virginia.
It is.
Yeah.
But at the time when I was going there as a kid, it was still very rural, and the nicest, most fun people I ever met were down there.
Yeah.
You know, like it was always just, let's have fun. Everybody bring some food and we'll have a party. Yeah.
It's a big joke there now. Where are you from? I get it. California, right? I didn't know I had some. I don't know.
No, is it just
because there's so many there?
Yeah,
now. Yeah. And five of my neighbors. I mean, 5 neighbors are from some part of California. All came at different times, but But I'm just saying that. I also want to say just a little slam. The reason you all think that way is because you won.
Yes. Oh, I think it's a total holdover from the Civil War.
Oh, it is.
Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, there's some truth to some of it.
Some truth, but there's a bias because I've met some pretty ignorant Northerners.
Oh, sure. I mean, they're everywhere. It doesn't matter where you live.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But I think oftentimes it's the
But
I was telling you that story.
I heard once though, Bruce, that the whole like slow yokel type of like that kind of thing, like all comes from ringworm. Have you heard this? Or a tapeworm? Is it ringworm?
I was born with one. Whatever said I had a hollow leg. I could out-eat anybody, and I was skinny as a rail as a kid.
They say it's the one that goes through the soles of your feet from walking around in the dirt with no shoes on.
It could be.
And that's where that whole stereotype comes from, because like they were poor, and they didn't have shoes.
See, I come from farm people. My family were all dairy farmers.
Okay.
And as I was telling you yesterday, my first German, the Boxleitners, came over 1880 something, maybe 85, somewhere around there, and they were sponsored by someone here in Pennsylvania. So, and then we came through, and then moved on to Illinois, northern Illinois, and was a bunch of them there too. I've got cousins all over Rockford, but I still have something in my heart. I feel for rural people.
Mm-hmm.
My grandfather, he had a weak heart, they said, as a child. He had something wrong. So they had to take him out of school because he had to walk to school or ride one of the plow horses to school back when he was a boy. But instead, he had to stay home. He had maybe it was a heart murmur, maybe a weak heart. He eventually did die of a heart attack. When he was in his late 70s, but he was a farmer, and I think farmers need to be a little more respected today. They're what feed us, folks. And out in the West right now, they're in great danger.
Yeah,
state of California, they're in great danger.
Yeah,
they want those lands to save the milkweed.
Yeah, well, we got to have that milkweed.
We got to have. That's why the fire devastated, because there was a law now, just let it burn, called, in quotes.
Really?
Yeah. 3,000 some structures out of Pacific Palisades and Altadena and all that. Anyway, another subject.
Horrible stuff.
Don't get me started.
No, I know. Well, all right. So I have a question here that will get you off that subject.
Yeah. I don't want to make enemies here.
Bullpen Boss says, Matt, could you ask Bruce if he knew Bo Hopkins well? I know they did 2 Westerns together. I always liked Bo in The Wild Bunch, American Graffiti, and so many others. Bo Hopkins,
yes,
what
sir.
do you say?
Yes, sir. I knew him very well. He knew my...
No, wait, I'm sorry. Hold on, Bo.
What?
I'm sorry, Bruce.
I'm Bruce
No,
Hopkins.
Mike, I'm not attributing the Southern accent to ringworm. I'm saying that the stereotype of the slow, dull, stupid yokel comes from having this parasite and being sapped of energy and nutrients because of a parasite and not proper medical care. You knew better than that. Okay, go ahead.
I did.
Sorry.
I mean, you explained it perfectly well.
Yeah.
But I think you could sit in any part of the country and have a yokel.
Absolutely.
Somebody,
but not one with a parasite.
No, maybe not. But
no,
if they were walking around in Florida with their shoes off, a lot of people do.
Sure.
But here's the thing. So I have a thing. So my family, they didn't have much, but they were farming, and my grandfather never had passed a 3rd or 4th grade education. Didn't know how to read. I only learned that in the last few years back. He didn't know how to read. Yet that man could take apart a tractor and fix it.
Yes.
Or a combine or plows, whatever the heck it was, fix harness, fix all that. He was raised in the time of still plow horses. My dad remembers that when he was a kid on the farm. But he had the talent of taking hundreds of acres of ground and raising corn out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Swapping fields so that it would rotate the soils.
Mm-hmm.
He knew how to do that because he learned it from his father.
Yeah.
And his father before that.
Right.
Our generations go back. So that's nothing to scoff at. That's why I don't like people thinking it comes from a supermarket. No. Somebody has to grow that. Somebody has to grow that animal if you like your hamburger and steak. All that stuff. A little respect for them. And people lose sight of that. And that's where it said, but I've always identified with that. And even in this miniseries I did with East of Eden with Warren Oates,
mm-hmm.
who was terrific. He played my father in it. I got to work with all these guys. I got to work with so many, Matt. I pinched myself. So I said, did I really work with all these people?
Yeah, no,
it's crazy.
Fascinating life.
Yeah. So, but I played a farmer in that. I was so joyous to get up there and have a team of horses on a plow, and Timothy Bottoms and I played more or less the Cain and Abel of the story of Steinbeck's story, and it took place, during the last part of the Civil War. Warren Oates played a ne'er-do-well veteran, so he was terrific in it. But anyway, so that's it is. So I look forward to playing those kind of characters if I can, and there's some of Hollywood always thinks of me as this urban guy with the suit and fine dresser and all that sort of thing. I'm not really inside.
Yeah,
I've always held on to I spent every summer on the farm. I was shipped off. My mom was always having my sisters, and so I lived on the farm. I knew how to milk cows. I baled hay. I did all that stuff. So I was a big farm boy. In Illinois, or be it East Tennessee,
right? Yeah,
it's all done the same.
It's all the same. Yeah.
We baled up there, and they rolled the hay.
So do you think that's why? Well, let me
That's
ask you
why
it this
westerns
way.
appeal to me too.
Oh, that was my question. Did westerns appeal to you because you had that?
And I had all that to play on.
Yeah.
When I was playing the movies I saw.
Right.
I had all these cows as my audience.
Right.
Holstein cows, some Black Angus.
Yeah. For the record, ladies and gentlemen,
this is a marathon.
This I know. Mike.
Okay.
Mike, 6 questions says,
please.
about the ringworm thing. Okay.
Oh my God! You've opened a can of worms.
Look, he says I had to Google it, and even Google looked at me and said, "Are you kidding me?" Well, okay. I just Googled parasite contributed to Southern stereotype. First one that comes up, PBS. April 27, 2016, how a worm gave the South a bad name, Nova. You trust them? How about this one? Vice. Southerners weren't lazy, just infected with hookworms. It wasn't ringworms, it was hookworms.
They were on this working in the soil.
That's right. Yeah. Gross Science, the name of a video from pbs.org, May 3rd, 2016, hookworms and the myth of the lazy Southerner.
Isn't that something?
See, usually when I say, I think I heard somewhere. I don't think I heard somewhere. I'm pretty sure I heard somewhere.
Boy, don't get him started, folks.
Don't forget,
your buddy Matt
when your buddy Matt says things like that, go explore, because I'm tipping you off to something that you might find interesting. Okay.
Look, Matt.
Yes.
Even though my ancestor, and you helped me find that here 3 years ago.
Yes, in the 8th Illinois.
Was a 12th Illinois cavalryman. Irishman in the Union. Nothing scared the hell out of the Yankees more than the rebel yell.
Oh, yeah.
Many a blue boy dropped his gun and ran.
Yeah.
And those screaming hookwormed banshees were coming at him. Oops, I'm making friends wherever I go.
We're having
we have a great
fun,
picture in the background here of Bo and Martin Sheen.
That's right. Bo and Martin Sheen a couple of years ago at some reunion, I think it was, or I don't know what the hell it was.
I'm curious what your audience is, if we want to think of the marvelous, probably one of the most famous.
Miss Maisel?
No, Robert E. Lee. I'm curious how people. I'm sure in the
comments.
Who was the better of the two?
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's
a tough one, because look at Duvall. He was years older than Lee.
Yeah, but Lee looked like he was Duvall's age.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
so
Duvall
audience,
did a marvelous
answer.
job, and in his own way. And I thought Martin Sheen did a compelling performance. Did he look like? No, and he's a much shorter statured man. But it was Ron Maxwell's dialogue and the scenes that were meaty. Martin's a great actor.
Yes, he is.
And there's no doubt about it.
No.
And so you look away from that. I don't look like Schmucker, Reverend Schmucker.
Luckily, nobody's ever seen him.
Well,
except
we've
for
got
people
pictures.
here.
There's pictures. He's very gaunt looking, and he's very makes my nose look small. But, and I always want to tell the audience, maybe there isn't. Maybe there's a slight one. I don't know if he was a tall man, but he was a prominent man. I'm tall, but if I have found some through Bo and writing it, and me performing it, if we found some essence that may be true to the man, that's what counts. He may not look exactly like him,
right?
But there's something. Is there something about him in your performance that could be my gosh, Schmucker was very much like that.
Again, it goes back to what our grandmothers and our mothers always told us, that looks aren't everything, right? I can think of 2 performances of the same character that came out, and then I believe the same year. Val Kilmer and Dennis Quaid as Doc Holliday.
Right.
Dennis Quaid looks closer to him.
Maybe. I know of only one photo of Doc.
Right. And in that photo,
that every historian goes, yes, that's him.
And he looks closer to Dennis Quaid.
He's a very skinny, gaunt man.
But I think everybody likes Val Kilmer's performance better.
Yes, but
I've
looked at I like them both.
Yeah.
And somewhere, well, maybe if you married them together, there's the real guy, or maybe it's not at all. But it's how we imagined him.
Dennis's voice.
Yeah.
Val's everything else.
Yeah. His sort
put
of
those together.
His aplomb, his sort of. He brought much more of a I don't want to say, and it's not effeminate. It's a genteel Southern.
Yeah. Well, that's what
he was a fallen aristocrat anyway.
Right.
You know, slightly. I mean, he came from the plantation world.
But I also would imagine that guy with tuberculosis, which is basically a death sentence, and then, he would just become a drunken gambler, gunfighter, rough guy who would sound more like Dennis Quaid, and he'd have that gravel in his voice.
Yeah, because Dennis also played an eccentricity about him.
Yeah.
He would talk with a very haughty way, even though it was a little gruffer.
Right.
I know what you mean. But, he was from this antebellum South. What makes, having done this 336-page book, audio, is that the one thing you got to know about Doc Holliday that both actors brought to it, he wasn't afraid to die. That's the most fearsome man you could ever meet.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm dying anyway.
Right.
Yeah. I'm already dead.
Mm-hmm.
Go on, go for your gun.
Mm-hmm. Right.
I'll be your hucklebearer. Hucklebearer, by the way.
So I've heard that hucklebearer, not huckleberry.
That's right. But he was playing with the word. I'll be a huckleberry. But it's really huckleberry.
Which means...
Remember, you always swallow. The Southerners swallow that back in.
Yeah.
Like, don't ever say you're from Nashville.
Nashville?
That's such a Yankee.
Yeah, we pronounce all the syllables.
Yes. Nashville. Swallow the vul.
Vol.
Knoxville. Nolensville.
Whichville?
Nolensville.
Nolensville?
Yeah.
Okay, Nolensville. Vol.
As you would say in
Vol.
Pennsylvania.
Right. You're like a Tennessean.
I'm suddenly a Tennessean. Remember, they were both sides.
That's true.
That was a hard place.
So, okay, the audience about Sheen versus Duvall.
There you go.
Beth says both gave great performances as Lee, but I like Martin Sheen's performance better. I wonder, Mr. Gutty agrees with her. He says there's a vulnerability and a strength there at the same time that are compelling. It is more about evoking the person than actually looking exactly like him.
Exactly. That's what I was trying to say. Evoking the essence of the person.
Yeah, I always kind of...
It's harder to do.
It's
unless you have that absolute... Now, the Abraham Lincoln actor, what was his name? He was here...
Daniel Day-Lewis?
No.
Oh.
Well, there's another one. Let us look at that.
Yeah.
I'm a very big Lincoln fan. I collect Lincoln tchotchkes. I mean, salt shakers and
Oh, really?
The little piggy banks they used to do, little copper banks,
Yeah,
bust of Lincoln.
Yeah.
My whole bookcase is Lincolnian because I'm from the land of Lincoln.
Mm-hmm.
But he was a Southern man born.
Right.
And he talked like one too.
Yeah.
Like I said. Anyway.
But Daniel Day-Lewis
was remarkable.
Yeah, he was. And to me, and there's a lot of great actors who played Lincoln before him.
Who's my favorite?
Sam Waterston. Oh, your favorite of all?
My favorite?
Oh, wait, let me guess.
I'm just saying if you could guess it.
Gregory Peck.
No.
Did he play him?
I loved him.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then if it wasn't Gregory Peck, it wasn't Sam Waterston. Well, was it? Was it Daniel Day-Lewis? That's mine now.
That's the newest one.
Yeah, but that's not your favorite.
No, I would only hold two.
Hold on. Gregory, who's the other guy?
Oh, let me save you.
Hal Holbrook.
Wonderful.
Not your favorite.
Better Mark Twain, though.
Okay, yeah, good.
Mark Twain tonight.
Yeah. Or who?
And Henry Fonda.
Oh, Young Mr. Lincoln.
Young Mr. Lincoln is actually my favorite Lincoln movie.
Okay, is it?
Yeah.
All right. I haven't seen that since I was a kid.
Well, I really, one of John Ford's best pictures ever.
Yeah.
See, before Duke Wayne became his go-to guy, it was Henry Fonda, and they worked together when it was specifically at Fox.
Okay.
There's a marvelous collection called Ford at Fox. It's a huge box. It cost about $300 of all the Ford films that they made there all the way back. And Young Mr. Lincoln, what I love, I've always been fascinated by where did they come from stories.
Mm-hmm.
And when he walks at the very end, it was so patriotic too, because Ford was an uber patriot. And at the very end, Lincoln has won the trial. The two boys accused of murdering in a tussle out there, and it's the one big trial, murder trial that he did. He did do a murder trial, won, but he's not a legend. But you see, he's going to be one. He's going to be legendary, and there's something about this tall man, and just Henry Fonda's slow cadence.
Yes.
Contemplative cadence.
Yeah, I like the way he talks.
He slowed it down.
Mm-hmm.
And he had that kind of Midwestern. I cry at the end of it every time. I cry at two scenes in the bloody thing. But and then he's standing out there in the young family, the family that he saved, and their mother, whose two sons were up for murder, and almost got hung. He saved them from the mob, everything. The old Conestoga is rolling up over that hill, and there's a storm brewing. That's actually Pico Boulevard in Los Angeles now.
Okay.
And it's a grassy knoll and an old picket fence going up the trail. And one of the little sidekicks says to him, "Well, hey, Bean, we head on back to town now?" He says, "No, I'm going to walk up a ways." And he's got his top hat on and his long gangly way, and his coat, is a little short in the sleeves. He couldn't quite get a proper fit on anything because he was gangly. And you start hearing, dun, 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 dun. I mean, it stirs me. I don't know. Yeah. Maybe it's because of my ancestry. And he starts walking up the hill, and Ford has him walking away from us up that hill, and these storm clouds are coming. What is that? There's war coming.
Yeah.
There's tremendous bad times coming, foreboding looking. And he's walking up that muddy dirt wagon road up along that, and it's just his back, that profile, the top hat and everything.
Yeah.
And it grows to a great crescendo and chorus of the Battle Hymn of the Republic.
Yeah. Which always gets me stirred up.
Oh, it does me too.
Yeah.
I'd march off too right away. I'm telling you, but that one gets me. And it's those last seconds. Film is moments pieced together, little moments.
Yes. And it is really an impressive thing to watch. I know Beth in the comment section was an extra at the church with us. And,
yes.
And actually, she's been involved a lot. I've seen her as an extra in a couple of different scenes, and so she'll attest to this. Like it's exciting to see how the sausage is made. I mean, I love to see how the sausage is made. Yeah, you're a bit into it. I'm a lot into it, and I've been on different types of sets before, you know, but every one is different. Because everybody has a different technique of lighting something or whatever it is, right? And then to watch actors, I've always been fascinated by actors. I don't know why. I think it's because, well, since I was a little kid, I've just always been drawn into movies. And it's obviously the actors you're focusing on. You know, when you're 8 years old, you're not going, who directed this? You know, and is that a dolly shot or is it like, you know, nobody, nobody cares.
That's a crane shot.
Right. That's a crane.
We're backing up and we keep going up.
Right.
And we're going to get the whole picture in.
Right.
We start on him, walk along with him. That's a big crane. And then they start going up. And now we see the background and we see the whole
beautiful
earth right there in back of you.
You don't know that as an 8-year-old. You just know.
You don't.
I like
to believe what you're seeing.
Yes, and you believe that actor is that character, right? And I do remember as I got older and I realized, no, they're just pretending. You know, this because now I would see them in another project and they weren't that person anymore. But they were another person, and I liked them, and I believed them as that. And so I just find it fascinating that people can do that.
Yeah,
you know, but then
the great art form that started in the 20th century, early 20th century, and it was the art form of the century. Still continues. It's changing. You know, let's say some good things about it. Okay, it's still changing. Technology is taking us further and further. You look at that camera. I started when they were the big 35 and everything with mags, mags of film.
Right.
We don't film anymore.
Right.
It's all digital.
Yeah.
That's why when Bo kept saying, I told you yesterday, where he kept saying, no, keep going. Start over, but, or stop there. And I told you, my process is I got to go back to the beginning of the speech again.
Right.
And thank God Bo knows me enough that he gave me the freedom to do that. There'd be a director who go, no, start right for where you left off.
Yeah.
Okay. Because they're going like this. They're looking at their watch, going, I got to get this. I got to get this and this and this before we wrap it.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
and I'm glad, as a person whose butt was really sore by that point, I'm glad.
I was doing that intentionally just to wear you down.
Yeah, well, it worked. I'm glad you didn't have to do that too many times.
I have to say, I love all the extras. Beth, did you say?
Yeah, Beth.
Okay, I know I talked to her. I know I did.
I'm sure you did.
Yeah.
Beth is very friendly, and she probably
I mean, because we all those same ladies and gentlemen were in my party the other day at the Schmucker house, but I love them. I walk around talking to them. They help me get into character. I walked around saying, "How are you doing? How are you holding up? I know you lost your cousin in the fight, and is everything okay?" I was making it up as I went. Yep. So I get in that way that the Reverend would, looking after his flock, talking to them as such, and every one of them fell right in with me. Improv, that's what you do.
Yes.
And then when action, I could walk in there within the mindset that I wanted to be in. And how proud I am of those citizens. I was telling them how proud I was, all of them.
Yeah.
And how amazed I was,
Well, you know what else I like too is you didn't big time everybody either. Like,
no. Everybody's a part of that production.
Yeah,
everybody.
Correct. Yeah, but I mean, you didn't between takes when they were doing another setup, you didn't rush off to your trailer or anything like that, or just go hide in a room.
That's only if the food had somehow gone wrong.
And the food was good.
Yeah, it was good. It was a good meal. The hours were late.
But I do appreciate that. I appreciate the time that you spend with me when you come down here.
Mm-hmm. Well, you in turn have been so generous with, you drove me around the unit. I remember 3 years ago we went and found my grandfather, and then you had some book. What was that book, by the way, that had the roster list of people?
I found a book on the unit, and I sent it. I gave it.
But it was a big. No, you gave me that.
I gave
is his signature in that?
No, I inscribed it.
No, your inscription, I understand.
Yeah.
You're holding up very well for being that old. No, we found Owen McMahon
in that
name
book.
In a book.
And he was a deserter.
Yes. I knew all those facts.
Yeah.
Now, last night, Dave, Malgi said to me, no, remember, I was telling him this story. And I said, remember that it meant different, slightly different than it does today, the connotation of being a deserter.
Yeah, and I don't know if it was actually deserter or it said absent without leave. Or
it said deserter.
Did it say deserter?
It said prisoner of war and then deserter.
Okay.
He was recruited, Augusta, Illinois, 62 or something like that, 61. And then the stuff I have known through the family legend of it was that, we all know that, and in all my reading, many, many guys dropped their guns and left. A lot of guys went home. Their hitch was up. They went home.
Yeah.
Desertion was not uncommon.
Right.
Didn't even Lincoln said, why should I have one more dead 16-year-old boy?
Yeah.
Why do you want me to shoot them if they desert? Because some kid, that was in the Daniel Day movie that, he's sitting there on Nicolet's bed, or it was, And
that's right. Yeah.
And he wakes up and there's Lincoln sitting in the bedroom, and he's going through these things he's got to sign, executive orders and things like that. And he goes, they want me to execute this kid because he cut his horse, so that he couldn't go with him. And he said, what's the use, especially at this point in the time the war was going their way, and what is one more 16-year-old boy's life mean? Yeah. Let him go home. Let him go home to his mother. He's a 16-year-old boy basically. Right. I mean, come on.
What a job.
And my great-grandfather was, this is on my mother's side, I don't want the audience to know that he wasn't a Boxleitner, he was a McMahon, as Irish as the day could be. Yeah. And he was 34 years old. He certainly wasn't ambitious to get a rank. He was a private all the way through. But he did have a GAR medal, as I remember.
There you go.
He's Grand Army of the Republic.
It is Lincoln's job has got to be the hardest job. The actor,
the guy, Lincoln, what would I call him? Not impersonator. I don't like that
living
word.
Historian.
Living historian. That's perfect. I actually saw him at a big battle in Moore Park, California.
The guy who's playing Lincoln in this movie?
Yes, I saw him do...
in Bo's movie.
In Bo's movie. I saw him do the Gettysburg Address there.
Oh, cool.
I was in a Confederate uniform on horseback a little further out in the field. They wouldn't let us get in close to him. We had guns on us.
Yeah, I don't blame him.
But I really respect him. He's the closest I've seen in the reenacting community of a Lincoln.
I didn't get to see him perform when they filmed.
But if you saw a picture of him, I bet you'd get it. Lincoln had his hair cut short when he came here. Yeah. And he trimmed down his beard, not unlike he had no mustache, but it was just a tuft here. Mm-hmm. He didn't have a full chin full and jaw full, I should say. And he was mostly clean shaven his entire life. It was only those last 4 years.
Yeah.
When some young girl wrote him a letter. No, she said you would look much more dignified wearing some facial hair. He read some little girl's letter to him, and it just tickled him, so he grew.
Really?
He grew a beard.
Huh. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's a fascinating guy.
He is.
Old Abe.
The greatest face.
Yeah.
I have a beautiful...
Have you been
that photo of him that was 2 weeks later, he was dead. He kind of got a sleepy eye.
Yeah.
And I've read people that however you turned that face, it was a different angle at every time. He had so many angles. He had such a lived-in... no other human being looks like him.
No, they don't.
Bony, almost primitive-looking face.
Have you been down the street? There's an art gallery.
Mm-hmm. Lord Nelson's?
No, that's up in town.
Yeah.
Wendy Allen is the artist, and she only does Lincoln. And so all of her, we'll have to go there because
it's always closed when I get there.
It is. I think she keeps like regular, like up till 5 or something. But I can arrange for her to be there
I'd
for
love
you.
to, yeah.
I can take you in there.
Is there all kinds of like you can have a sort of pop art looking one? Or?
Oh yeah, there's. I mean, she did. Oh, she's done so many different things. You'll see it.
I don't doubt it because that face must be a challenge for a portrait artist.
I've had her on a couple times and we've talked about it, and she thinks he's very handsome. And
strangely so.
Yeah, and I said
those
I never
intense
thought
eyes.
of
They
him
must
that.
have been blue eyes,
right?
Almost grayish blue.
And I said I never looked at him that way. He always was Lincoln. Like you say, there's no other face. Like nobody looks like him.
Like nobody looks like him.
No, even people that resemble
Was he put
him
on this earth?
Like an alien.
Seriously? Well, I mean, God, however you want to put it. Did God put him on this earth to be this most of the time he was considered homely.
Yes.
Okay? Talk about ringworm. Right. He didn't have shoes his whole early life.
No, he probably had it too.
He was a barefoot boy.
Yeah.
You know? And remember he always said what struck him so hard was sitting on an old rail fence. I mean, his father was never there sometimes, a lot of times. I can't imagine when Thomas Lincoln left the kids at the cabin for like a month or something. Like that. Said, I'll be back. Take care of yourselves. Don't get hurt. And were there even neighbors?
It's stories like that make me...
You think of, my gosh.
Like, we're so wimpy now.
Oh, my God.
Like, you can't leave your kids home alone for a month anymore.
I never came in that little street in Crystal Lake, Illinois, that was like 2 rows of houses with cornfields around them and a woods down at the end. We were always in that woods climbing trees.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it was heading towards sundown, and that's when I heard my mom, Bruce, come in for dinner.
Right.
And, it's time to come in.
We had a bell on our front porch.
And a bell would have done it too. Yeah, in that little neighborhood, in little cracker box houses, post-war GI housing.
I'm so glad that's the way my childhood was.
Me too.
I'm not afraid of the woods.
We rode bikes and fell off the bloody bikes and had to get up and go.
Skin knees. I climbed.
Fell out of trees. Oh, more trees I fell out of than...
The fence in my backyard, it was actually the neighbor behind us, their fence, and it was one of those stockade fences, and 2 of the sections had separated. And so my friends and I used to climb through it, right? Mm-hmm. And one time I climbed through it, and one of the nails that was sticking out, I was wearing shorts, got the inside of my thigh. And
that's a sensitive part.
Yeah, and I had to go get a tetanus shot and all that.
Yeah, the tetanus shot was the worst part.
Yeah, it was. But you know what? That's like, that's a war wound. That little scar on the inside of my thigh.
Absolutely.
Right?
That was a sign that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I walked around because that's, it's hard to.
I was in the shit.
Well, yeah.
It's like a veteran walking around. No, we were in it.
Yeah, it's I was in the jungle. Yeah.
And man.
Yeah, and it's just I feel terrible for the kids with now with like video games and no experience outside, and they're terrified of nature
but they terrify me.
Yes, they should.
Excuse me.
They're terrifying, and
they've got another thing going on here.
But the thing is, it's not their fault. It's their parents, and their parents, unfortunately, are my age, and so it's my generation's fault.
Is that who we have to blame?
Yeah, you have to blame us.
Mine has to blame. We're to blame for you.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are. But we're not as bad as them.
I'm the 60s and 70s generation. 80s.
Yeah.
And 70s, if you remember them, you weren't there.
Right.
That was an old gag.
That's what they say.
I was every bit. I was in drama school. I never served. No one called and I never answered, but I did sign up with the draft like every guy had.
Every law-abiding citizen did, yeah.
Law-abiding citizen. And I went to drama school in Chicago. And all the way to 73, I thought, well, this is not an accredited school. It's a drama school.
Right.
I could just picture myself standing there and the sergeant going, actor, huh? All right, John Wayne, get into line. I mean, it would have not have gotten me exempt from anything.
Right.
Okay, if not, I'd be punished more.
Of course.
Grueling stuff
Hazed.
to do.
Yeah.
I'd have been cleaning washrooms forever with a toothbrush.
Absolutely. Oh, did you get to interact with any of the artifacts connected to Samuel Schmucker while you've been here?
Only the buildings. I've not.
And his grave.
And his grave. But and what little I could find, I have to say, I Googled and I did IMDb and similar information.
IMDb to find about Samuel Schmucker?
Or what's the other one? Not that. My wife put me on it.
Wikipedia?
Wikipedia,
okay.
yes.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I'm not into these newfangled things.
Yeah.
I deal in smoke signals yet.
Right. IMDb is for you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I've got projects on there. This is the funny thing about IMDb. I'm looking down the list of my stuff. Okay, they got that right. They got that. I never did this. Now try it. I say, well, I'll get a hold of them and take this off here. That's not right. I would never did this project.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good luck with that.
Yeah.
Once it's on, it's on.
It's on. It's the problem with the internet. All right. We're at 3 hours.
Okay.
And I would go.
bored
I would
the people to
honestly. I would go 6 hours because I know you could do it. But I have a show to do at 7 tonight, and I need to save some of my own strength. You know how that goes.
I sapped that, buddy. You're gonna suck tonight.
Great, thank you.
Anyway, I love it. I love doing this, and I love your audience.
They're great,
and
great
I just
people.
want to say to all the folks out there that are working with us, thank you so much. Appreciate it. And you can say these trite things that it wouldn't be the same without you, but I truly believe that. I complimented all the people that were in the audience last night, saying, where would we be without the reenacting community and the citizens here who participate, especially the ladies getting in their big skirts and everything.
Oh yeah, Yeah. No, it's true. It's true.
And they're doing it. I don't know. They're getting some good food out of it, I hope, and but the enjoyment, and we do enjoy them there, and they're bringing their talents. Whether they think, even if it's just walking around in a hoop skirt. There's a way of doing
Which,
that.
believe me, that's quite a talent to not believe me like I've done it.
Yeah.
That's not. But
that's another show, Matt. Another show.
Those things they look like hell. They look like hell.
They are.
Here's a couple more.
Okay. What
a great Thursday surprise interview. Things like this are why I love being a patron. Thank you, Jeff. Patron, these are the people that subscribe. Richard Snyder says, thank you for the trip down memory lane. James Arness as U.S. Marshal Dillon and Ken Curtis as Deputy Festus grew up on Gunsmoke. Mr. Boxleitner has a great career to look back on. No, Ken wants to know, is Bruce drinking Little Ground Top? No, he is not. He is not.
There's some water in here.
We went to
I have had it.
Just smell this, Bruce. Just smell it.
Oh, God. You're going to do this to me.
Play along. Look at it.
Yeah.
Let's see. Oh,
it does.
It does.
That has an aroma. And I could probably use a cup pretty soon.
There you go. Well, we'll have to
I gotta get
stop and get some.
Yeah. Oh, it's gorgeous.
It is gorgeous.
No, we had some yesterday. Did we not?
We did not.
Or what did we have?
They don't have it by the cup over there usually. It's just by the pound.
Okay.
Here.
Okay.
But we did stop at Bantam Roasters. That's who makes that.
Right.
And you can of course get it, Bruce. But when you go back to Tennessee, you just go to addressinggettysburg.com/cafe and you can get yourself a bag of Little Ground Top.
And then when you get that, you head over to Lynchburg, Tennessee, and get your Jack Daniels.
Pour some Jack Daniels into it.
Yeah,
and have a hot toddy in the morning.
Yeah, there you go.
I
don't drink, of course, and I want everybody who was devout to Reverend Schmucker. I don't know that he was a drinking man. I doubt it. I have a feeling, just looking at his face, But another interesting face, by the way. I didn't even realize about this man,
Schmucker,
until I saw 3 photos of him and various stages of his life there. Mm-hmm. Also, there was a painting hanging in the background of him, dark-haired, dark brown hair, very brown hair.
Did they leave it up?
It's longish, and wasn't a bad-looking guy in that painting. Yes.
They left it up.
Yeah, they brought it, and we had 2 of the sofas from him, back to returned in there. They've been at other places now.
That's cool.
Museums. And so, yes, that's the artifacts I sat on and everything. So being in that house was artifact enough. It was wonderful.
Very cool. Thanks for doing the movie. Thanks for doing this interview and the time you've been spending with me and Cindy. That's been a lot of fun for us. And
Thank you, Matt.
You're very welcome. And ladies and gentlemen,
taking me to Little Round Top the other day. Yesterday,
oh, my pleasure.
Because it's been closed since I haven't been here since 2002 or 3 or whatever it was. 2, I think.
I have. While you're here, I have a lot of actual free time because young Tad, is usually a part of our show, and he has agreed to come on as my editor for 2026.
Good.
And of course, Bo stole him for the first month of the year, so we're not getting much of anything done this month. So, which is good because I still need some rest. So, while you're still here, if you have time, you want to go to other parts of the battlefield, let me know. Okay?
Yeah, I may want to go see the old 12th again.
Sure.
Just to say, hey, Grandpa.
Okay, we'll do that. Very good.
You bloody deserter, you. No. Listen, they yell about last night. They're all talking about John Burns. John Burns picked up a rifle and walked into a hell coming at him.
Yeah.
And he got hit.
Yeah.
So you can criticize all you want. He may be a blowhard of this and that. Everybody had an opinion of him. He was a kind of obnoxious character. He shot dogs, things like that. But he went and Johnny Reb was shooting guns at him and he got hit.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he laid on the field too.
And a lot of other people did not do what he did.
No.
Yeah.
So,
and how many of us today would?
I don't know that I could.
I don't either. Especially
not
being
a wall
old.
of lead coming over like that.
No, and especially
he was a 60-some-year-old man.
Yeah, and I don't know about you, but
I'm just throwing one in for John there.
Yeah, I like it. I've
got a very fun scene to do if you're around. We're on Baltimore here, and Stephen Lang and I have a nice quick exchange as Schmucker and Burns.
Yeah.
Sounds like a comedy team.
Schmucker and Burns.
It may turn into that too. Schmucker and Burns.
When's that, tomorrow?
I'm hoping it is. The rain and everything. I think
it's clearing up tomorrow. I think you're okay.
We could use that day.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I don't know if I'm driving my carriage or I have a driver. It may be probably that.
Probably a driver.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think probably the good Reverend had somebody that chauffeured him around.
Although, you
never know.
Yeah, who knows? Who knows?
That's
so maybe it was his day off.
Might be his day off. That's true.
Anyway.
So if there's a runaway carriage down Baltimore Street heading out, I'm going to make the newspaper.
Bruce Boxleitner missing after runaway carriage takes him from movie set.
So I'm heading for a Little Round Top. Okay.
All right, Bruce.
All righty. Thank you so much, man.
Thank you, everybody, for watching, and we'll talk to you next time. Bye-bye.